to give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love. I'ma give you what you love. Give you what you love. I am sharper than a switchblade, first and last of all God made, and that's the truth. But man, keep on trying to hold me back while another chicken head come home to lose. Too strong, try to do me wrong, and the last one standing will order and command you to dance. Oh, dance. Run tell your preacher and your teacher, I'ma give you what you love. I got to give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love. Give you what you love. Give you some love. Yeah, baby. I said I take your time, take what you love, baby, just enough, but never too much, baby. Take your time, take what you love, and when that baby cry, you better look at that, baby. Take your time, take what you love, baby, just enough, but never too much, baby. Take your time, and when it give me some love, won't you give me what you
Well, happy December 1st, 2020. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. And my technical producer, Mike, is on the other side, handling the business and making sure that we get on air on time, that kind of stuff. So, on behalf of everybody, thank you, Michael. I appreciate you, even though you put up the spray when I start coughing. It's December 1st. When we started 2020, nobody knew anything about this little unknown virus that everybody was talking about in China. You see, because we only pay attention to what's happening right in front of our nostrils. Very few people were paying attention. We started hearing about it in October of 2019. Michael is cracking up. We started hearing about this little virus in October of 2019, and I heard about it from my father, who stays glued to the television, and he watches MSNBC, CNN, and he says, listen, there's something going on in China, and he sent us this whole thing that we needed to follow to make sure that we were safe. That little manifesto that my father wrote that fateful day in October of 2019 is what saved my sisters and I, because by the time the rest of America started paying attention in February, March of 2020, all hell had already broken loose. I know that I start my show every day talking about the virus, but it is something I must continue to do, because this morning, as I was looking at something completely off the wall that one of my mentees sent to me, a video came up with Christian Keys, an actor, who was crying his eyeballs out because two of his partners, one was an actor, another one is a singer, both under the age of 40. One was in their 20s, died from COVID-19 complications. And so it's not the thing that I'm going to harp on right now, because it's Giving Tuesday. And if you don't know what Giving Tuesday is, it's a time when you give to, it started in 2012, and you give to your favorite organization. So one of my favorite organizations are going to be represented today on the air. It's the National Cares Mentoring Movement. So you'll hear from Stephen Powell, who is the key programming officer there, and you're going to just thoroughly enjoy it. And then I got up and started giving to my favorite charities, right? So the National Cares Mentoring Movement gave a little bit of money to CCP, gave a little, so you just want to make sure those organizations that you believe in and believe that you can help to support, then I'm going to ask that you do that. It does not have to be a whole lot of money, right? These organizations, some of them like WHYY is matching dollar for dollar. Just go look to see what they stand for. Why are you interested in these organizations, and how can you support them? And just go ahead and give to them. So from the New York Times this morning, it says it's Giving Tuesday, and we have a few ideas related to the news. And I wanted to start here because I don't think a lot of people understand this. A cornerstone of democracy is collapsing. In the internet's early days, it seemed to have the potential to crush traditional print media, but its impact has turned out to be more nuanced. The internet has instead been a boom for some publications with a national audience. The New York Times has never had as many subscribers or readers or employed as many journalists as it does today. The Atlantic, the Washington Post, and others are also thriving. It is at the local level that the digital revolution has been as destructive as feared. Hundreds of local news organizations have folded as their advertising revenue disappears, and the pandemic is exacerbating the crisis. At least 60 local newsrooms have closed since March, according to Pointer. Some of them were more than a century old, like the Eureka Sentinel in Nevada, the Mineral Wells Index in Texas, and the Moorhead News in Kentucky. There isn't a story of creative destruction in which nimble new entrants replaced older companies. Often, nothing replaces a shuttered newsroom, leaving communities without any independent information about local government, schools, and businesses. A recent Times investigation found that some partisan groups have begun posing as local publishers, trying to pass off political propaganda as news. There are consequences for society. When a community's newspaper closes, voter turnout and cross-party voting tend to decline, while political corruption and government waste rise. Academic research has found a democracy struggles to function when its citizens can't stay informed. Why am I reading this to you? Because we have local news organizations right here in Philadelphia that needs to be supported. The one of the obvious is a WURD radio station. It is Giving Tuesday. You want to give to your local organizations, buy a mug, buy a cup, buy a something, or just donate to go to wordradio.com. And quite frankly, no one asked me to do this, but when I talked about it yesterday and thought about where we are and how local news media, struggles and dies, imagine what you would not have heard if we didn't have the platform to discuss what we knew as local hosts about what was happening in Philadelphia and how we were able to talk through some of the things. And while we can challenge you with what's happening nationally, it is very important that you understand what's happening right here in our backyard. The other news organization that I know and work with very well is the Philadelphia Sunday Sun, an organization that Catherine Hicks came to me, and now it's going to be 2 years, sat down, I began writing for her, just loved what she was working on and how she was doing it, and now the Philadelphia Sunday Sun is growing, right, because they're finding a different platform. Give to that organization too. Any local news media that is here, especially the ones that are independently Black owned and driven, I would ask that you support them today in any way that you can. So this piece that I'm reading from the Washington Post, of course, is David Leonhardt, not the Washington Post, I'm sorry, the New York Times. He went on to say, what can be done? Eventually, savvy entrepreneurs may figure out how to make local news profitable, but several have tried in recent years without success. For the foreseeable future, the only reliable answer seems to involve philanthropy. Americans have long accepted that arts, higher education, and organized religion all depend on charitable giving. Local journalism is now in the same category. We need philanthropists across the country to embrace robust local journalism. Sarah Beth Berman, the chief executive of the American Journalism Project, which funds local news sites, told me, if you care about education, you need to worry if school boards and charter school boards are covered. And if you care about the environment, you should make reporters like Ken Ward Jr., make sure that reporters like Ken Ward Jr. are covering coal country in West Virginia. Let me see. Michael is sending me something. He wants to hold on. I don't know who's calling. Okay, all right. Okay. Well, tell Reverend Joe Michael that I don't know who this person is and that the person hasn't called. So go back and ask him if they're calling into the show, please. That would be great. So moving right along, there are many other shining examples of the new nonprofit journalism, but even more communities receive little to no high quality coverage. Local news, people, makes all the difference in the world. You all get on here and you listen. Some of you listen to WURD radio from the time it starts with Reverend Tyler, and you work all your way all the way down to Saving Space with Sincerely Sarita. And so this is not happening in a vacuum. You have to. We're asking that you continue to support what we do in local journalism. He says, I decided to write about this topic this morning because today is Giving Tuesday, when people take a break from online shopping to focus on charitable giving. If you are worried about the state of local news, you can donate through Newsmatch, which matches donations to local publications or to your local public radio affiliate. Again, that is WURD Radio. If you want different giving ideas, and then he went on to say, da 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 da. So that's where I am with that. I wanted to start the show there. You know, give, please. There's a lot going on there, and we want to make sure that we support what's going on with us here locally. And then I wanted to flip over and tackle something else before I go back to COVID. This is very important because for those of you that are listening, the listening audience on WURD Radio, you may or may not know. Some of us are in the mix, some of us are not. But you may or may not know that many of your children and grandchildren are becoming internet stars and sensations on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And what they do is they create an audience that then generates thousands of people that are following them. And as those people follow them, they make money. Instagram will contact them, or Facebook will contact them and says, you're considered an influencer and we want to pay you by advertising on your page, and then we give you money for the amount of hits that you get. So lots of young people, especially now in 2020, where things have just fallen apart and many have lost their jobs, have become internet sensations. The problem that I am seeing is that too many of them are being found dead. In the United States, in China. The latest one happened 18 hours ago in Houston, Texas. Body found on the side of road is that of Instagram influencer from Houston. This was written by ABC 13 Houston. It says the body of a woman found dead on the side of the road over the weekend is that of 26-year-old Alexis Sharkey, police confirmed on Monday. Sharkey was a popular Houston Instagram influencer. An investigation began Saturday after a Houston Public Works employee reported finding a woman's unclothed body around 8 a.m. in the 1000 block of Red Hall near the Katy Freeway. HPD detectives said the employee was driving when they saw the feet in the bushes. Authorities said the woman had no visible injuries and believe her body had been there overnight. Alexis's mother, Stacy Robinald, spoke with Eyewitness News from her hometown in northwestern Pennsylvania. Robinald remembered her daughter as a ray of sunshine who adored traveling the world. She was so excited about finding her way in the world, even though we're from a small town, and she loves coming home. She wants to see the world and also wanted to see the world. Always wanted to see the world, said Robinald. Alexis, was literally a ray of sunshine from the beginning. She was health conscious and loved selling organic healthcare products, and she graduated from college with a major in biology. I'm telling you all of this to say that there are predators out here with our young children. And so while we are excited for them that they're doing what they're doing, some of them, and I'm going to do some research on this, some of them are being, predators are finding them and luring them into places where they shouldn't be. I don't know if this is the case for young Alexis, who is from Pennsylvania, but I have to tell you, the other thing that concerns me is Steve Jobs saying years ago before he died that we're so addicted and tied to our devices that we want the latest hit. We always want somebody to like what we say and like what we do, and when we don't get it, we're seeing a rise in depression and anxiety, especially amongst our young people. So I'm asking parents to pay attention to what's going on with your young folks out here. You know, they want to live the life. They want to, I see people, young folks talking about that they're in private jets and they're doing all sorts of things. And I'm also watching all of the the nefarious things that they've had to do to get to that place. And it's a story I'm getting ready to write because I'm doing an investigative report on it. And it's especially our young black males. You know, I went from being homeless to having X, Y, and Z. And you all have to know that as you make the money, the Internal Revenue Service, and you're flossing it on the internet, the Internal Revenue Service, if you don't have a business set up properly, if you claim to have a nonprofit, but you really don't have a nonprofit, all those things are going to come back to haunt you down the road. So this is why we constantly here on The Source have the kinds of people that can tell you how to start your business properly, how to make sure it's run in a way that you will find yourself not in any trouble on any level. It's difficult. I know this because I've been a business owner for a long time, and it's not always easy, but Lord have mercy. The alternatives are just not tenable. I am going to wait because Reverend Joe doesn't want to. Mike, let me talk to Reverend Joe for a second, please. Reverend Joe, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. You were waiting for somebody to call?
Judge Toms told me she couldn't get in yesterday because she called in too late. That was almost like 5 or 4. And she's going to talk about the traffic.
So did you text her to tell her to call in now?
I'll do it. I didn't do it, but I will do it. Yes, ma'am.
Please do that. Go back on hold. I'm going to take a quick break. Even if, I have Reverend Dr. Alan Wallows on next, I'll make sure that we get you in some way. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, you're quite welcome. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Last year, the Pennsylvania Lottery contributed over $1.2 billion to programs that benefit older Pennsylvanians. Programs like senior centers and hot meals, long-term living services and home care, property tax and rent rebates, transit rides, and much more. To learn more, visit PALottery.com and check out the interactive map to see how the Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older residents in your county. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach with tips to help you stay well. We breathe every day and have been doing so since before we were born. But wait, let's think about this for a moment. Something as simple as breathing can enhance our health and well-being. When we breathe mindfully, we slow down, take deep breaths, and activate our parasympathetic system to relax our bodies. Mindful breathing goes like this. Number 1, find a comfortable place to sit still for a few minutes. Number 2, close your eyes and relax your hands on your thighs. Number 3, take a deep breath in and count to 3. Then exhale your breath and count to 3. Do this 5 times. We sometimes think mindful breathing has to be an intense experience, yet even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at WURDradio.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, today is December 1st, and it is officially Giving Tuesday. Please give to your local charitable organizations, local news organizations like WURD, WHYY, the Philadelphia Sunday Sun, the Philadelphia Tribune, places like that that you know are giving you what you need to get us where we need to get to as it applies to local news here. There were a couple of good dates that I'd like for you to remember. December 1st, of course, today is Giving Tuesday. You don't always have to just give on today. You can give as much as you want to. The other institution that I personally love is CCP. Let me just make sure. All right, CCP, because they do such good work in education. December 8th is the last day for states to resolve the election. December 14th, the Electoral College cast their ballots. On December 23rd, President of the Senate, Mike Pence, receives electoral vote certificates. On January 5th, there is a special United States Senate election runoff in Georgia. David Perdue, Republican, versus John Ossoff, Democrat, and Kelly Loeffler, Republican, versus Raphael Warnock. Raphael Warnock is the pastor of the church where Martin Luther King used to be a preacher. On January 6th, Congress counts the electoral votes. Pence presides over the process as president of the Senate and announces the results. The candidate that receives at least 270 out of 538 electoral votes becomes the next president. So these are the dates that you have to remember. And I'm going to keep repeating these. Thank you, T, for sending them to me to remind me of what that is. Let me take Fred from Northern Liberties.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm just tired of the stupid stuff. I just want to say, count it our joy and stay in prayer and all things through Christ Jesus, and it's all about love, and the change is coming, but you got to be patient and stay in prayer, and there will be an answer. And if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn away from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land.
So tell me tell me the purpose of your call, sir. What are you
it's
fed up about?
It's about hope, faith, and love.
Hope, faith, and love. Okay.
That's why I say stay in prayer.
Stay in prayer.
You're
Okay.
welcome. Okay. Thank you, honey.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Oh, that was an easy call. Thank you so much. All right. Talk to you soon. All right. So, WHYY, Nina Feldman and Alan Yu wrote this on November 30th. Why contact tracing isn't the COVID solution we thought it would be. Matt Katz couldn't be easier to find. He is a journalist living in Philadelphia and picks up the phone when strange numbers call. He had given all his contact information to the company that tested him for COVID-19. And after he got his positive test results, he had nothing to do but isolate and wait for someone from the city to reach out and ask who he had been in contact with over the last few days. But no one ever did. I was infuriated, said Katz, who lives in the city's Graduate Hospital neighborhood. This is something that they told us they were going to help us with. While he waited, Katz started doing his own contact tracing. His family got tested, and he called other parents in his kids' remote learning pod. He called his dentist and his barber and a friend with whom he had had an outdoor lunch. Still, he felt like he could have used the guidance of a professional in determining who counted as a contact or not. I don't think that we can do it all on our own, he said, yet that's exactly what the city is asking people to do. Just a few days after Katz made his call in mid-October, he never developed symptoms, and that's the piece that I'm talking about. Those folks who are asymptomatic, no symptoms of all, but are testing positive. The city announced that new daily case counts had exceeded its ability to contact trace them, topping over 200 a day. The city released guidelines instructing those who test positive to do their own contact tracing. We simply don't have the manpower to do individual case management for every case that's being reported today, given the large numbers, Philadelphia Health Commissioner Dr. Thomas Farley said. Because it is such a resource and labor-intensive containment tool, contact tracing in Philadelphia and the rest of Pennsylvania, COVID-19 in Philadelphia, the Department of Public Health could no longer monitor those, just 2 weeks, could no longer monitor those who were quarantining or their contacts. In April, efforts to build robust contact tracing operations were underway, but by early June, the city had only hired 20 tracers. From July through mid-October, the period that the health department staff of roughly 100 tracers and 20 case investigators had a handle on things, Philadelphia registered roughly 100 new cases a day compared to more than 1,000 daily now. The Pennsylvania Department of Health announced last week that it would begin prioritizing positive cases it received within the last 6 days and those at higher risk of serious illness or spreading the disease to vulnerable populations. Even before the new triage scheme during 1 week in November, the state's contract tracers were only able to reach 24% of the more than 34,000 new cases. The state's director of contact tracing, Michael Huff, chalked the failure of contact tracers to reach everyone up to individual responsibility. People don't want to answer the phone, said Huff. People do not realize how important it is to give the information we need to control the disease. The United States failure to contain the virus isn't a function of the contact tracing tools design, said Emily Gurley, an epidemiologist at Johns Hopkins University. Rather, it's a failure to scale and fund the effort adequately. So if you have found yourself testing positive with COVID-19, you now have the responsibility of tracing back to the people who you were last in touch with, and they have to then tell the people who they were in touch with, which is why we keep saying, I woke up this morning, turned on MSNBC, and Dr. Gupta was on there, who is, he's on there regularly as a contributor. He says, I'm frightened. I'm frightened because we're asking people, if you don't have to travel, don't travel. If you don't have to be in gatherings, be in anybody else's home, don't do it. And there's still lots of people who are just not taking this seriously. People are still saying that this virus is much ado about nothing. And the other thing that I am seeing is people are in a place of depression and anxiety because they want to go out and do and drive their cars and go visit friends and family. But quite frankly, when you look at the map of the United States of America, it is one big red hot spot. And so, while we are being asked to shut down and other states are being asked to shut down, slowly but surely, I'm sure it's coming our way at some point. Parts of California now are on a 2-week lockdown. And you can't just do it here or there because it is a virus that is airborne. It doesn't just stay in California and doesn't spread, And so even if you're not around someone, but you're out exercising, and I see this happening all the time, and you have no mask on, and you're huffing and you're puffing, and you could be asymptomatic and you don't know, and that thing spreads, slaps you in your eyeballs or goes into your nasal passages, and the next thing you know, you're sick. And so those are the things that I keep talking about. I want to see, like everybody else, I want to get back on a plane and travel. I want to do all those things. But I know that if I want to see 2021, or if I want to make sure that my family members are safe, then I have to do what I have to do. And it's just that simple. Although it seems so difficult for so many Americans, because doctors are consistently saying that still too many Americans believe that this is not a virus, that it doesn't exist. And I don't know what else it's going to take. There are 273,000 people dead and 4 million people tested positive, and there's still people walking around saying that this virus does not exist. I don't know what it's going to take. Some folks just have to die, I guess, and it's a sad state of affairs. What if we were really at war and could not come out of our houses at all? What would we do? And we just, anyway. Judge Tynes and Reverend Joe. Let me talk to them both, please. Good afternoon, Judge Tynes. How are you?
Fine, darling. How are you? I've never had the pleasure of meeting you, but I guess most like in the future I probably will get a chance to see you.
Yes. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Reverend Joe, he's my pastor, but a lot of things that we have at the church that I started a couple years ago about violations that these students do not know about.
Yes.
That can affect their lives permanently. And I started out really with Reverend Joe had one of the parishioners there came to me about saying that her grandson, who had applied for a position, was rejected due to he had a criminal violation. And she said, well, he said he never got a ticket or never received one, and he was 27 years old. He had a position, but he was applying for another position that never came up when he had the job that he had now. So we did some research on it, and I found out that when he was like 18 years old, his parents, or he bought what they call a hoopty, and it broke down on 95 or either 70. It's one of those highways, and they don't remember. They had it towed, but they don't remember if they received a ticket or not, or they paid for it because it goes back many years. What happened is that they didn't really recognize that when they left the car, like on the highway, they probably paid for a ticket that was an abandoned car, because if they left more than, I think, 24 hours on like a major highway, they can give you a citation for it. But in the state of Pennsylvania, a citation for abandoned vehicle left on the highway, which is a code 3712A, is a fine only, but it goes under the criminal code as a summary criminal offense.
What?
And that is something that a lot of people didn't have aware of knowing about. It goes under Title 75 of the Pennsylvania Vehicle Code as a summary criminal offense. So when he applied for this other position, most likely they did a background check, and they found out that he had a criminal offense, but didn't look at it. It was a summary criminal offense. Probably didn't even know what it was, and that's why he was rejected from that position. So at that particular time, we used to come out on Saturdays, and people had this kind of problems. I would tell them, most of the time, especially now after the election, you can see all these counties in Pennsylvania that are, I said, the red counties, that our children are maybe stopped and don't know that they had a citation that is a summary criminal offense under the state law. And there's a lot of them. And what people are now are getting confused with the parking authority and the state conviction. It's like now the parking authority has where you are caught speeding on the Roosevelt Boulevard. They have speeding cameras now, or either you make a turn on red sign, or it's one of the locations out there. Those violations, if written by the parking authority or by the cameras, are non-criminal violations. There's summary civil violations. That's the difference in being civil and violations and criminal violations. But those violations do not affect your license. All they do is you get a fine for them and you pay them. And if you don't pay the parking authority, they will turn that into the credit bureau. But the difference is that if you receive a citation like that speeding or red light from a police officer that they write, that violation goes to the state, and that violation can get you suspended, and it's called a summary criminal violation. And if you don't pay the fine, you can be suspended. Your license can be suspended. Where the parking authority violations don't suspend your license, but they can turn you into the credit bureau. So it's really a lot that we do not understand how the system works, and it can affect you, except if you get a citation from the police officer, for, the abandoned car, if you don't have that violation expunged, it stays on your record. So Reverend Joe gets, we try to tell our students and we tell our grandparents what they need to tell, their children, that these violations are going to hinder us probably even more now when our children are traveling to different states in the country where they look up and say they had a violation, say, for instance, just for a registration. It still comes under the summary criminal code in the state of Pennsylvania.
Unbelievable, Judge Tynes. Thank you so much for calling in. I'd love to talk to you some more because it's a conversation that we used to have consistently, but now that I'm talking to you, it's something that I'm going to pull back up again because you're absolutely right. Even traveling out of state, you go to places like Virginia or New Jersey, or you get stopped and you get a traffic ticket. Some states, depending on their code, their laws, they can become criminal, right?
They are criminal. Let me explain a few that you may not know are summary criminal violations. Do you know that they just let a notice out, I believe. I got a call that some people are leaving their cars running. I don't know if you got a call. So somebody from a district called and said that the police officers are going to start writing citations or tickets, as you call them, for people who run into the store leaving their car running, leaving their keys in their car, because there's been a lot of people have their cars that's been stolen. But I want you to know, if an officer writes you the ticket, if you say you ran into the Rite Aid or somewhere and you left your car running, if they give you a ticket, that ticket is $153, but that is also a summary criminal violation under the code of Title 75 in the state of Pennsylvania. That's how. If you go down the street and your car is making all this noise where you can hear it outside, even if the windows are closed, if the officer decides to write you a ticket for that, it's called sound reproduction. That is the fine also, too. Comes under the summary criminal code. If you park your car on the sidewalk and an officer gives you a citation or a ticket for that, that's a summary criminal violation. There's a lot. What I can do, if you want me to, I'll send it to you. I'll send you a listing that I have that I use all the time, telling people all these codes that all these are fines. They're not the points. There are ones that are points, but the ones I'm mentioning about this are no points, they're just fines. And if you don't pay them, the state of Pennsylvania can suspend your license according to these codes. Yeah.
I tell you, it's always something. Thank you so much for calling, and I really appreciate this. Can you hang on and let Michael Michael will give you my email address so I can get this thing, okay?
Not a problem.
All right. Happy December. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Reverend Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
Man, that was some good information, man.
Well, that's why you have an open mind. That's why I told the judge, if anybody would do with it, with you. So thank you for doing it. We need to talk. Talk about what's happening down in Atlanta, Georgia. And down here, they're trying to break back the firing squad. You know what that is? They're trying to pass a law for these prisoners that's in prison. Put them in front of a firing squad. So President Trump is coming in this weekend. It's going to be a lot of problems. So you better kind of stay close to this. Maybe Thursday I'll call back in and see if anything has happened. But it's got something bad's going to happen because he's coming to stir up trouble. And it's so sad that so many of our people are still asleep at the wheel. We better wake up.
That's the thing, Reverend Joe. You know, so often we just sometimes we just get so frustrated. You know, it's just a ticket. It's just a this. It's just a that. In West Virginia, you can still beat your wife on a courthouse step on a Sunday, and it's okay. There's a law that says you can do that in 2020, sir.
Well, last year they just dismantled the whipping post in Wilmington, Delaware. That's really outside of
They just dismantled the whipping post.
Yeah. So listen, Lord willing, I'll give you a call on Thursday to see some more information because I think they're trying to figure out how to send money down here to help the minister from the Ebenezer. Church,
Warnock. Yes.
So
listen to me, Reverend Joe. I need you to be careful. Take care of your health, okay? You're traveling, and this virus is not a respecter of persons, places, or things. So be careful while you're down there, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. Thank you, Thank you, Judge Tynes, for calling in and giving us that bit of information. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I also have to do one more thing, and I almost forgot, Michael. Tune into WURD Radio Fridays, December 4th for a virtual empowerment experience at 1 p.m. honoring radio icon Cody Anderson. WURD Radio's 5th annual empowerment experience celebrating the history and impact of Black radio in Philadelphia will take place virtually on WURD Radio's 96.1 FM, 900 AM, and you can also watch this program via WURD TV through Facebook Live, YouTube, and on wordradio.com. The virtual event will be honoring radio icon Cody Anderson with remarkable presentations by his son Bill Anderson, Kenny Gamble, Iyanla Van Zandt, and more. The virtual experience will begin at 1 p.m. and feature a virtual roundtable with WURD host and Cody Anderson, music, poetry, reflections, and so much more. This virtual event is free. Registration is required. For more information and to register, go to WURDradio.com. We will be right back after these messages.
Step by Step Home Care Professionals is one of Philadelphia's fastest growing Black-owned home care employers, and they are hiring. If you are a caring, nurturing, and compassionate person who enjoys helping people in need, Step by Step Home Care Professionals is looking to hire you. Go to sbshome.care to complete an employment application. That's sbshome.care or call 610-321-3108 for more information and ask for Monet. Step by Step Home Care Professionals is hiring today.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app. Or watch live on Word TV via Facebook and YouTube. Word Radio. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. So cool. In the middle of my live presentation, I got a phone call from the gentleman who is the chair of the newly formed Police Advisory Commission that I am on at the state level, and just had to call him back and say, I'm live on the air. I'll call you back after 4 o'clock. Sounds pretty cool. So I'll, I'm hoping that we can get some good work done, and it's a great team of people. There are some things I will not be able to talk to you about for obvious reasons, but this is something that I think will do well for the citizenry of Pennsylvania. Be Black, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon. What can I do for you, sir?
Right. I just want to talk about the corona. I want to talk also about what the judges just said about parking violation.
Okay.
First with the corona, I know it's a pandemic and things to say the least. But I wanted to talk to Charles Ellison earlier today as to what we can do. I remember several years ago when they had Hands Across America and all the movie stars, the celebrities and everything came out, and they would stretch hands across America. I think the same thing should be done with COVID. Hands across America, because you could do something like that. I took the pledge. You see people masked up, shielded up, with gloves on, holding hands, stretching across. They said, I joined the pledge. I joined the pledge. And we stretched this thing right on out. And just to show the people, even with radio stations, TV sets, you have celebrities stepping up, basketball players, stepping up across men. I did it, and I took the pledge. Our family did it, and we took the pledge. Because you got to make it that real.
Yes, that's a great idea, sir, because I am still talking to people who are still getting on planes. I'm watching doctors and nurses cry. I'm watching them say that hospital rooms are filled to capacity, that people who don't have COVID but are having heart attacks and strokes. I had to hold my husband's hand the other day and say to him, please, Lord, let us not get sick. I'm not even concerned about COVID at this point, but the other stuff, right? Let us not have, anything else happening, because the hospitals are filling to overflowing. And there's still people who say they believe it's much ado about nothing. And I don't know what it's going to take. I just don't.
Right.
I don't.
And also with the judge, right? Matter of fact, I was in the interim of buying the farm from a friend. They brought from the auction, right? And he placed it in the community. It was 2 of them. And the police neighborhood community came and picked it up. The papers in the car, we don't know where it's at. All the city programs are set up. You call on the phone, you get a busy sound, or you get a person. The city things are not opening. And the police are still doing their job as if they have a full service thing that's going on. And there's nothing going on. We can't get registration. We can't do insurance because a lot of people are not in the offices. We can't turn these events, even though we occupy. They say, well, do this first. You have to do this. You have to register the car and all that thing. These things take time. And, they're not essential things per se. They say you don't have to come out, don't come out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the still doing their work and not giving the people a chance to. So I wanted to speak to the doctor if somebody could give the neighborhood unit on that does these things, picks up these cars. I don't know where the car is at. You take them out the back road or where these car lots are at, right, in the city, past Young Avenue. They got public touring companies. I don't know which one to go to. You know?
So you need a place where you can contact someone who will give you the right information to find out where the car is. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
And so no one's answering the phone, because I'm just trying to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. Is it because of COVID and no one's in the office, or they're just not answering the phone?
They're not in full operation. You get
they're not in full operation. Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is reach back out to Judge Tynes. Since she's sending something to me via email, I will ask her the question on your behalf and let you know. Okay?
Okay, you're going to let me know when you're ready. I'm still listening to you.
Yes, sir. I will. I promise you. As soon as I know, you will know. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And I hope you find the car. That can be frustrating. Have a good one, okay?
Start the campaign and say, I've taken the pledge.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye. Oh, Lord. It's always something. And he's right. Be Black is right from West Philadelphia. It's very difficult to keep track of what's going on, especially in the city offices now. You're calling and calling and calling. You get a voicemail, or you bounce out, and because people are not in full operation, the same way they're asking us to stay home, city workers can't all be inside these city offices, and so we have to figure out ways to work through and around. But I'm also asking that they give people a little bit more time because of COVID, right? So that they can access their things and not pile up the fees and things like that for them, because it's just not okay. It's just not okay. Look at this. Let me see. There is some stuff going on. I love Dee sends out these things to us every morning so that we know what's going on locally and nationally. It says here from the Philadelphia Inquirer, written by William Bender, new police tactics are expected in Philly after the death of Walter Wallace Jr. On a mild November night in 2015, Camden police sped to Crown Fried Chicken at Broadway and Mickle, where a distraught man with a knife had just threatened to kill a customer inside. When cops arrived, the 40-year-old man was outside waving the knife, clearly a potential threat. Repeatedly, he refused police officers' orders to drop his weapon. The encounter could have been his death sentence in many cities in America, or a few years earlier in Camden itself. Instead, police officers recognized that the man was in the throes of a mental health crisis and backed off. An officer with a taser, well over an arm's length away, walked with him for several blocks, trying to break through the agitated man, all of it captured on video. The officer fired his taser, which didn't incapacitate the man, but he eventually dropped his knife and was taken into custody. No shots were fired. 5 years later, in a similar circumstances in West Philadelphia, Walter Wallace Jr., a 27-year-old father of 9 with a history of mental illness, emerged from his family's home holding a knife after police received a call that he was threatening his parents. This time, 2 police officers, only a few years from the training academy, pulled their guns, shouted orders, and 41 seconds later fired 14 shots, killing Wallace. I understand he had a knife, and their job is to protect and serve, Anthony Fitzhugh, a cousin of Wallace, said the day after the shooting. By all means do so, but do not let lethal force be the means by which you de-escalate the situation. Investigators here may conclude that the officers followed their training and were justified in opening fire on Wallace. But the October 26th incident, which led to widespread protests and unrest, may result in the Philadelphia Police Department reintroducing more extensive de-escalation training, similar to what had been in place but more than a decade ago, but was quietly discontinued. Camden and more than 80 other police departments across the country use a version of the training known as ICAT, Integrating Communications Assessment and Tactics, and the results are promising. Developed by the Police Executive Research Forum, its techniques are designed for scenarios in which a person is armed with a weapon other than a gun, particularly those involving people in crisis or attempting suicide by cop. I love that they're doing the de-escalation training, but I have questions for what happens when someone is in a Walmart holding a water gun. Someone called and you walk into the Walmart and you open a fire. Or a little boy is on the playground with what is clearly a toy gun, doesn't look like a real gun, but you open fire. So it comes down to more than de-escalation. You have to really stop and think. we using our bias when we see certain groups of people out in the street? Are we treating certain groups of people differently because of the implicit and explicit biases that we carry within? So it's a lot, and we have to work it through. Rick from Germany, how are you, Rick?
How you doing, sister?
Woo, I'm doing all right today. How are you, sir?
I'm asking a question. Was Walter Wallace a new recruit of the Nation of Islam?
I don't know.
I've seen pictures on YouTube of him in a green outfit and a bow tie, and I'm wondering if his family was worried about his direction after that photo situation.
I'm not following you, sir. I don't know. I can't follow you. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, I'm wondering if he was a new recruit to the Nation of Islam, and if his family was worried about his direction, his spiritual direction, when they called the police on him.
So from what we understand from news reports, and a friend of mine, Cherry Gregg, interviewed the mother and the father shortly afterwards. Cherry Gregg is a KYW news reporter and a friend of mine. She said that the mother this young man had been presenting with depression and anxiety and some sort of mental health challenges for a long time. This wasn't just a one-off incident, and it was, they'd called the police before to that address, and they've tried different ways to get him to a place where he was calm. This particular day, she couldn't get him to calm down, so she called the police for help several times, in fact, and by the time they showed up, this is what happened. So I'm not sure. I can't say definitively that it had nothing to do with his being a new recruit of the Nation of Islam, but I don't think that that's what happened here. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Have a good one, okay? All right, bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. A second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
Power tax, yeah. All right. Power tax, yeah. Greetings, my people. This is Stephen Hutchinson, owner of Power Tax Ltd. We do your taxes accurately, expertly, and get your refund immediately. And we answer your questions and explain what's going on in your tax return to increase your financial literacy. We are mobile, so we can come to you. So come to Power Tax. Call now, 610-955-6508, 610-955-6508, and get your questions answered. Come to Power Tax and be powerful.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight. This program is pre-recorded. No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, WURDradio.com.
Word family. Join us Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. for our 5th annual Empowerment Experience. And this year, we'll celebrate the history and impact of Black radio in Philadelphia by honoring radio icon Cody Anderson, featuring a Word host roundtable, music by Jack Drummond and Taylor Samuel, presentations by Iyanla Van Zandt, Kenny Gamble, Bill Anderson, Deanna Williams, Dr. Lucille Ijoy, and more. This virtual event and live live broadcast is free. Add a holiday gift box, including a WURD mask, souvenir mug, and holiday flair for $35. $20 for 4WURD members. For more information or to RSVP, visit wordradio.com. Sponsored by Pico, Keystone Plus, Pennsylvania Lottery, Einstein, Dedicated Senior Medical Centers, and TML Communication. This is WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I am over on the WURD TV on Facebook and just read something that I am going to read to you. Judge Tynes, if you're just joining us, Judge Tynes, the Philadelphia judge in the Commonwealth Court here in Philadelphia, came on the air, called in to talk about tickets that are being written as citations that can turn in, that are criminal violations if we're not careful. And Tanya Frazier says, now it makes sense. She said, I was buying a home in Florida, and the HMO denied me to occupy the property because of 3 criminal violations on my background check. Turns out it was 2 tickets already paid, but it appeared on her background check, not 3, but 6 times. So they even recorded that in the payment of the tickets paid. So she said, thank you for this. And after the investigation, thanks to my realtor, the Homeowners Association agreed to accept me, but requested her to pay 3 ways, 3 months of the Homeowners Association. So it not only impacts your credit score, right? Because instead of her having to pay just monthly, she had to pay 3 solid months of the Homeowners Association fees because it came up that she had criminal record, which were tickets, y'all. I'm telling you, you have to be very careful. Right now, we talked also about the fact that today is the December 1st, and it's Giving Tuesday, and one of my favorite people in life is on the air right now, Stephen Powell, who is the Chief Programs and Partnerships Officer of the National Cares Mentoring Movement. The mission of National Cares Mentoring Movement is to secure, heal, and transform the lives of impoverished Black children by inspiring, recruiting, and mobilizing masses of caring Black men and women to mentor and nourish them. Our national volunteer affiliate network, of which I am a part, praise the Lord, connects adults to local youth-serving organizations. Our national group mentoring programs focus on the emotional, social, and academic development of our children and the wellness of the adults who parent, mentor, and educate them. Stephen Powell, Deacon Defense, how are you?
What's up, sis? I don't have anything else to say after that introduction. You done did it all.
Well, how are you, man? What's going on with the National Cares Mentoring Movement? I mean, I know because I've been following what's happening and we're working with students, but let the people know why Giving Tuesday is a great thing for places like the National Cares Mentoring Movement and what we do to create able and stable young children.
Thank you. I mean, so I think we all know how rough 2020 has been, but being people of faith, we also recognize that there are glimmering moments of brightness within these dark times, and we're just leveraging that. So Giving Tuesday, which is traditional.
Stephen, I just lost you. Stephen? I just lost. Michael, can you hear me? I just lost Stephen all the way around. Wow. Can you hear me, Michael? This is so interesting. I just lost Stephen Powell. Stephen Powell is Stephen, we can't hear you. Stephen Powell is the Chief Programs and Partnerships Officer of the National Cares Mentoring Movement. Stephen? That is so interesting. He was talking and then he just went clean out. Let me see if Michael can hear me. This is what happens when you're live radio, right? So while we're waiting for Stephen to get back on the line, I just want to make sure that you all are still able to hear me. The National Cares Mentoring Movement was formed in 2005 by then Editor-in-Chief Susan L. Taylor of Essence Magazine. She started calling it something else, and then she transformed and called it National Cares Mentoring Movement. I can't remember what it was in the very beginning. And so she began recruiting mentors across the country to volunteer. We're all a volunteer army. to support children across the country in different parts. So we have Chicago, where there's just been so many issues in Chicago. We've been able to create programs where we go into schools with social workers and therapists and folks like that we are able to pay to make sure that they're working with these children and to help them get from point A to point B. And she really asked that we use able, stable black men and women, just unapologetically, because our children need it. South Florida, Atlanta, California, and yearly we come together to do our retreat to talk about what we're able to accomplish around the country and what we need to have done. So today, being Giving Tuesday, I'm asking that you support the National Cares Mentoring Movement, and I'm hoping that Stephen will be able to get back on the line. I'm not sure why he is gone. But since 2014, I have been a part of this organization with a small army of people. We have been working diligently and quietly. I believe that work, when done with good intentions, does not have to be splashed all over social media. And so we have been working quietly with young people and with. All right, Stephen, we can't hear you. I'm still live on the air. Can you call?
I'm trying to call back in.
Okay. 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 So Mike says he had to reset the phone system. So you're right. It's something going on with the phone. Give him about 3 more minutes and call back in, okay?
No problem.
All right, Stephen. You see how things work? It's it's just always when there's live radio and live television, there is no going back and trying to fix it. So something happened with the phone system, and so Michael is working on that now. So while he's working on that, I'll talk a little bit more about what happens with the National Cares Mentoring Movement. So here in Philadelphia, Southeast Pennsylvania Cares, we've been working with and mentoring a group of young children in different parts of Philadelphia and the suburbs for years, and we've been doing it very quietly, not looking for and not seeking any funding from anyone, because it does not cost anything to mentor anyone. What we're doing now is trying to create a larger platform and a larger program within these states. And so now we have to pay for a therapist, and we have to pay for social workers and people who are going to really run the programs beyond what we can do as volunteers. And so for Giving Tuesday, we're asking that you support the National Cares Mentoring Movement. If we can get Stephen back on the line, and I'm sure we will at some point. Michael is texting me now. Let me see. Then he'll be able to tell us what is what from the national level. But yes, we have been working hard, and so every year around January, the end of January of each year, and I don't think we'll be able to do it this year because of COVID and everything being shut down. So let me just let him know he can call back. Michael, can you call him, please? No, you can't call him, Lord. All right, so let me see if I can find Stephen Powell. And okay. All right. Thank you all so much for your patience in listening to us. Something happened with the phone system at WURD, so the system kind of went down. Anyway, so we meet at the beginning of each year, and we talk about what works, and we work with different groups across the country for best practices as we're working with children and their families. And we partner with other mentoring organizations. So we're not, trying to do a one-up or a one-off. We also, what we do very naturally here in Philadelphia is that we work with the mentors themselves and do healing circles so that the mentors themselves have a safe space to talk to us about what they're doing, how they're managing with the young people that they're working with. And we work with them through a book called The New Way Forward. This is Afrocentric. And, okay, Stephen is back. Stephen, are you there? Okay, I still can't hear him, Michael. Stephen, are you there? What is going on? Michael says, oh my God. So something is going on with the phone system, and I'm not able to hear him. And if that's the case, then we're going to have a problem with anyone else who is going to try and call in after this. So we have to figure out a way to fix the phone system. Here's what we're going to do. let me pull up, let me see. Susan L. Taylor, if you have not had the pleasure of meeting her, she has called into this radio show before, and she's someone that I just, we all look up to. She is an icon in the in amongst leaders around the world, really, and she's so kind and so giving. And so she developed tenets in this book called A New Way Forward that we use with not just our mentors and the mentees, but with just our everyday life. There are 10 tenets that we follow in this book around African-centered living, that when we take care of our bodies, when we take care of our minds, when we take care of our spirits, then we're able to become the people that we need to be, that we learn how to save, that we learn how to work in a way that'll keep us moving and going, And as a direct result of doing this work, and I mean, we work hard, right? And as volunteers, we don't complain about not being paid. But what Susan does at the beginning of each year is that she has a fundraiser that celebrates her birthday, and we get to meet everybody in Jesus. So let me just tell you about the story about singer Maxwell. I design everything I wear for the most part. So when you see me, I mean, right now with COVID, I'm just wearing regular things. But I began designing all the clothes that I wear since 2014. I got tired of walking in stores, got tired of spending money on things that didn't fit me properly, and I just thought they were overly expensive. And one day I walked into a store, a fabric store, and started picking out fabric and started designing my own stuff, and that was the end of that, right? So this particular event, gala, I went and I had on this beautiful bronze-colored gown, just fabulous, that I designed, and Renee Bolden sewed it, and I walked. Maxwell was in the room. He was one of the MCs and one of the chairpersons of the event that night, and I walked right up to him, and he backed up, and he looked at me, and he said, "You did not. Where did you get that from?" Okay, Stephen, are you there? Stephen? Michael, you can hear him, but I can't hear him on this end, so I'm not sure what's going on. Stephen, can you hear me? Okay. I am not sure. We're not sure what's going on. So I went to hug singer Maxwell, and he looked at me. He says, your dress is amazing. And I said, "Thank you. I designed it." He said, "No, you didn't." I said, "Yes, I did." And he spun me around, and people started taking pictures. Hania Sharp Brown was there, and she was taking all the pictures, and we were laughing and talking. And he said he had just been in a motorcycle accident and was just having the hardest time. You can hear me clearly, Stephen? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Lord have mercy.
All right. Here we go.
You got me over here telling Maxwell stories.
Like grand opening, grand closing, huh?
You got me over here telling Maxwell stories. Thank God I had stories to tell.
I was listening. You just couldn't hear me. I was like, yeah, you did wear that gown, and he did say that.
And the next year, Beyonce's mother was there, Tina Knowles, and I was on the stage. Remember when you had us all go up on the stage from the different affiliates around the country? And I watched Tina Knowles point to me, because I had on this beautiful purple thing in honor of Prince. And Maxwell said, "That's my girl from last year." And that's how I got to meet Beyonce's mother.
That's right. That's right.
So we work hard for the National Cares Mentoring Movement, but we also get to play hard too, at least one day out of the year. So tell everyone, I think I gave them a brief synopsis of the programming around the country. Explain in more detail for them, please, what's happening there.
Yeah, I think, and actually before we had the technical issue, I was kind of just talking about just the significance of Giving Tuesday, which is traditionally the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and it's a global movement, really one to inspire people to give to their favorite causes and charities. And certainly the work that the National Cares Mentoring Movement has been doing this year with all of the racial injustices happening around the country and the pandemic. And before COVID, we had other pandemics that were detrimentally affecting communities of color, poverty and crime and just the racial injustices. So we were able to take our transformative work and move it into a virtual space, facilitating those community healing sessions for the adults in community, and then also bringing our wellness mentoring circles that we traditionally do in school into virtual platforms around the country. And the fact that you remove the factor of brick and mortar and going to a virtual capacity we were actually able, Andrea, to expand our work. And you know, you were a part of this in a very significant way. So that's really been the blessing in this moment. You know, with every dark moment in life, we know that God is going to radiate some light on us to do this work. And because the work is culturally anchored, healing-centered, and trauma-engaged, we were uniquely designed for this moment.
I was telling them about the book, A New Way Forward. It's not a book that is sold on the market, but I have been using it. Our team uses it to work with the mentors when we're doing the healing circles with the mentors themselves. It's not a book that is being sold yet, is it?
It's not. I mean, it's really the, you know, for lack of being sacrilegious, it's really our
Bible,
the Bible of our movement, right? It's our healing protocol, designed by a 60-member brain trust of different experts from around the country, focusing on 10 pillar areas that we know are important for restoration and reclamation of our community, beginning with heritage, moving into stress and wellness and community and mentoring and media watch and prosperity to build financial empowerment in our community. So all of those things we know are necessary.
Yeah. I'm trying to find I'm looking at mine, but I can't reach it, Stephen, because I've got my earphones on my head. But I'm looking at my New Way Forward book. I'll tell them what the 10 pillars are in a little bit. All right, go ahead, Stephen.
Sure. No, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's really, it's the blueprint. You know, we don't want to be navigators without a map in this space. And what the New Way Forward manual allows us to do is to really have those pivotal points that are necessary to approach and discuss when we're in circle in community with the adults, or when we're in circle in community with our young adults in schools and community centers and juvenile detention facilities around the country.
Right.
And, you know, the other thing that's important to note, Andrea, is that there's been a large shifting of consciousness among large nonprofit organizations and corporations with a willingness to invest in Black-led organizations. And we've been very fortunate to be the beneficiaries of that. And the type of investments that have been made allows us to, you know, increase the services to our young people that we're serving throughout our affiliate network. And just have to tip my hat to all the work that you do in Philadelphia and beyond. It's allowing us to expand our wellness mentoring circles, which are designed to help students identify their stressors and learn coping strategies. And why is this critical? Because we're also seeing the numbers start to rise in Black teen suicide. So it's something that we definitely have to address. And then we're also looking at ways to pilot new workforce readiness opportunities. You know, again, this is really our way of disrupting generational poverty, is by providing new workforce opportunities so that our young people and the adults that we serve can be competitive in a global market.
Yeah. We are seeing, and I did a whole piece at the 1 o'clock hour around young people who are becoming internet sensations, influencers that are turning up dead, right? And I spoke a little bit about the Steve Jobs before he passed away, saying that our children have gotten so accustomed to being glued to these devices that the rise in suicide and anxiety and depression is something that he was really concerned about over time. Well, that time is now here upon us. Explain to people just what we have been able to accomplish over the years of being anchors and mentors around the country, the affiliates around the country for the National Cares Mentoring Movement.
Well, I think one thing to note is that we do this work from a very egoless standpoint, right? So we're not driven by ego. We're driven by understanding that linking arms and aims with other like-minded organizations and experts and faith leaders and leaders from a variety of different areas of expertise is going to be critical to providing those wraparound services. Susan Taylor, our founder, she's got a special gift with being able to pull those pieces together, those people from the community. Andrea, I'm not just saying this because you're on the line. You also have that gift. And the work that you've done to bridge the gap between law enforcement and people, our community, right? We can't allow those conversations to break down. But the fact that we are able to build national partnerships with organizations like the Association of Black Psychologists and the National Black Child Development Institute and our Panhellenic organizations, you know, even when we look at the election, We can't discount the fact that the mobilization of these organizations is really what helped to create the outcome that many of us wanted to see. And the ability to continue to partner with entities like that, the Coalition of 100 Black Women and many others, is allowing us to show our young people that everything that we already need, we have. We just need a shifting of consciousness, a willingness to work together, and then the ability to give people an assignment. There are a lot of people who want to help. They just don't know exactly what it is that they need to do. And I think the National Cares Mentoring Movement has been a major player in this regard in being able to provide those assignments and move towards community healing around the country.
You said something that stuck with me when you said it's an egoless network. People ask me all the time, well, that's because when you talk to Susan and when we spend time with you and Jane and everyone else, we understand the value of the work goes beyond tooting horns, right? So we just do the work and get the work done. And quite frankly, you really have to truly care about the lives of children. That is where it starts, right? If you're going to join this, if you want to be a part of this organization so you can be seeing hobnobbing with the rich and famous, this is not it for you, right? We are talking about children who need adults that they can trust, adults that look like them, right? That they can entrust, whatever is going on with them, that we create safe spaces for them. And for those of us who are not working with the children, because some of the organizations aren't working with young people, some parts of the affiliate leadership group work with the mentors themselves. Mentors are people who come with their own stuff. To be Black and brown in this country is a condition that most people don't even still know how to categorize, right? We make it look good. And some days, Lord knows, we make it look easy, but we pray a lot. We carry our faith with us, and we understand what our healing is required for us to get to the places where we need to. Today is Giving Tuesday. How can people donate to the National Cares Mentoring Movement organization so we can continue to push forward this work around the country?
Yeah, so that's a great point. If you go to our website, caresmentoring.org, or if you follow us on any of our social media handles, Cares Mentoring on Twitter, Cares Mentoring on Instagram or on Facebook, we are selling T-shirts.
I bought one today.
Way that people could support. Yeah, we know you're going to rock your T-shirts. Yeah, we're selling T-shirts, and then we also are accepting donations. And I want to make one comment on the tooting the horn statement that you made, and it's so right. But one thing that we're recognizing with so many people transitioning off of this planet due to COVID and just when it's their time is that we have to give people their roses when they're here. And when you're in a space or a career where you're constantly pouring into community, we recognize that you can't pour from an empty cup. So we're going to toot your horn. We're going to give you praise. And it's important when you look at the historical context of people in marginalized communities who are typically excluded from being recognized for the work that they're doing. And so I just say that to you, Andrea, and to all of you out there in the broadcast community who are listening in. Continue to do the work, know that you are recognized, and know that God and our ancestors are with us at this very moment. There's no question about it.
Amen. Thank you so much. So caresmentoring.org to either buy the T-shirt or donate. That was Stephen Powell, Chief Programs and Partnerships Officer of the National Cares Mentoring Movement. Stephen, I know we probably will not see each other in January because of COVID. And maybe we can do a virtual coming together of the affiliates. I'm sure if anybody can make it work, you guys can. But I just want to thank you for loving on us and reminding us to take care of each other and ourselves and our families, okay?
Well, sis, I love you. We will see each other. We'll see each other virtually. January is National Mentoring Month. I want to just lift that up. And then our annual gala will be virtually held on Saturday, January the 23rd. Which is also our founder, Susan Taylor's 75th birthday. So we're looking
the gala is going to be virtual this year?
It'll be virtual, yes.
I'm still getting dressed up.
Through that.
I'm still getting dressed up, right?
Well, we know you are. We know you will, and we want to see that. That's for sure.
Yes, sir. Give Susan my love, and you have a wonderful afternoon, okay?
I will. God bless you and love you, sis. Take care.
All right, love you too. Bye-bye. That was Stephen Powell, Chief Programs and Partnerships Officer for the National Cares Mentoring Movement, a stellar brother. One of the things that I love about this organization is when we show up, there's just black folks, black and brown folks all over the place. And Susan has a thing that she puts together of Maya Angelou, I'm looking at his face, Martin Luther King, and I'm looking at his face. He's in my kitchen, but she sets up this altar, kind of like, and we talk about our ancestors, and we have to remember from whence we came so that we know where we're going. And it's just good stuff. It's just really good stuff, and it reminds me that every day that we are able to take a deep breath and to help someone other than ourselves is a good day. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hey, WURD family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
WURD family. Join us Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. for our 5th annual Empowerment Experience. And this year, we'll celebrate the history and impact of Black radio in Philadelphia by honoring radio icon Cody Anderson, featuring a WURD host roundtable, music by Jack Drummond and Taylor Samuel, presentations by Iyanla Van Zandt, Kenny Gamble, Bill Anderson, Deanna Williams, Dr. Lucille Ijoy, and more. This virtual event and live broadcast is free. Add a holiday gift box including a WURD mask, souvenir mug, and holiday flair for $35, $20 for 4 WURD members. For more information or to RSVP, visit WURDradio.com. Sponsored by Pico, Keystone Plus, Pennsylvania Lottery, Einstein, Dedicated Senior Medical Centers, and TML Communication.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I had to go find my copy of The New Way Forward, which is really the Bible of the National Cares Mentoring Movement. And so, listen, the other person, it was Maya Angelou, Malcolm X, and I can't remember the other one now, but there were 3 of them that Susan puts up, when we do our retreats every year. And so The New Way Forward, the book that I was talking about, the 10 tenets that we use, I'm going to read them to you quickly so that you can see what I'm talking about. The first one is heritage, then spirituality, then we talk about stress, wellness, prosperity, relationships, creativity, media watch, community, mentoring, profiles in excellence, because we always want to talk about the people that are doing well in our community. Excuse me. And then they have a list of things that we can read for our library. And they talk about the brain trust. You know what's so interesting about live radio is that we never expect these things to happen. We want it to always run smoothly, and sometimes it just doesn't, right? The phone number to call in if you'd like to talk to me is 215-634-8065. But this is it, and so it's not a book that is being sold on the market, but it is what we use when we are working with our mentors and our mentees. The book is called A New Way Forward. So moving right along. Thank you so much, Stephen. If you want to donate to the National Cares Mentoring Movement, it's caresmentoring.org, or you can buy a T-shirt. I bought a T-shirt this morning, a long sleeve T-shirt, so that I can continue to exercise in the wintertime. It's part of the relieving of stress. When you do the kinds of work that we do, especially in media, or when we're working with implicit and explicit bias and anti-racism training, part of the thing is that we feel that. We feel every bit of that sometimes when we're finished doing our training. And so for me, it is not picking up a plate of food and eating it, but getting on my bicycle or lifting weights or whatever it is that I can exercise some of that off, and making sure that I get a good night's sleep, right? The other thing that I have to tell you that I do consistently, because I can't speak on behalf of everybody, is that I practice kindness and empathy, right? It is important to me that people are heard, that I seek to understand before being understood, and that I am constantly doing research to make sure that I'm giving you the best of what there is to offer for you as a listening audience out there. And so, oh, Lord, let me see. Michael. All right, so there's no one calling in right now, so let me keep moving along. Let's see what else is going on in the news. So the Philadelphia Police Department is making sure that they do de-escalation training. They need a little bit more than that, but that is a great start, so I will take that. Let's see. You know, there are 2 vaccines that are asking for early approval, Moderna and Pfizer. That Moderna is saying that their vaccine is more than 94% effective. And so that's that. Presidential transition. President-elect, this is again from the New York Times, President-elect Joe Biden's picks for economic advisors suggest his administration will focus on workers and organized labor, including pushes for a higher minimum wage and a stronger social safety net. So let me say this, because Dee also sent something about this has been the year of, let me see if I can find it, a record year for activism. You see, when you look at President-elect Joe Biden's cabinet, you see a little bit of everything. Please make no mistake that it was the activism out in the streets, that people who were saying that they were sick and tired of just the same things over and again, that pushed to get us to what we needed, that people looked and realized that hatred and vitriol was not the way to go. And so while folks were fussing and complaining that it didn't call for all of that, you know, you have to thank the young people because they really pushed hard. So this was written by Zamina Conde yesterday. I hope I don't mess up her name. Thousands became activists, again, WHYY, PBS and NPR. Thousands became activists in 2020. Organizers say they expect a dip in participation, and that is okay. Niall Sharif Trudeau's life changed this summer. As an 18-year-old Black Philadelphian, she felt compelled to join racial justice protests this summer demanding an end to police brutality. Sharif Trudeau had never really seen herself as an activist or taken her beliefs to the streets, but between June and July, she joined thousands in protests at least half a dozen times. She was one of dozens of protesters police trapped on I-76 and tear-gassed. It will stay with me forever, Sharif Trudeau says. It has been more motivation to keep fighting. Still, Sharif Trudeau didn't attend any protests in August because coronavirus cases started to rise and her parents did not want her out. Then school started, and she's a senior in high school, and protests became less frequent. Engagement drop-off is something grassroots organizations think about anytime there's a surge in activism, and 2020 has been a historic year for organizing in the Philadelphia region. Let me say this to all of you, and I want you to hear it from me first. They may not be organizing in the street and protesting, but believe me, those young people have not stopped organizing. You just have to find them and talk to them. And they will tell you they're seeking ways to raise money, to run for office, to become local activists in supporting their local food banks, to check in on each other, to find new programming for themselves, to start pushing out the old programmings that don't work. So even though there may not be activism in the streets per se, where they're running around and engaging in protests in the streets openly, the engagement and the protesting has not stopped. and you just have to pay attention to see, because they're rising. They're now in the background meeting via Zoom, having conversations. I cannot tell you how many Zoom meetings there have been with young people, the teenagers in school districts across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and this country that I have been a part of. Zoom meetings with educators who say we have had enough of sitting around and watching racism. And I'm not just talking about black educators. I'm talking about white educators who are brave enough to pick up the phone and say, can we do a Zoom meeting, because we have to figure out a way to get more involved and engaged on what's happening with our what's going on with our Michael. People are saying they may not be able to hear me. I don't know what is going on at the radio station. Please forgive us. Something is happening at the radio station. I'm going to see if Mike can hear me. Let me try. Let's see. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. It's back. This is always something. Something is happening at the radio station, and sometimes it's not anything we can do something about, and they will troubleshoot as they go along. But if I go in and out, just don't lose me, okay? We're still here. And so we want to make sure that we are paying attention to the young people and asking them questions. And for those of us who have been engaged in the system and the process for a long time, I want you to know that you're to now start engaging the young people. Don't sit around and say they don't know and they don't understand. That's stiff-necked behavior. The good thing to say is, let me hold myself responsible and let me see how I can work with and support young people and bring them to the table. You may not always agree, but remember, if they did not get out on the streets and became activists, if they were not willing to be tear gassed, if they were not willing to even to fight this virus by going out in the streets and doing what they were doing, we would not see the kinds of turnouts that we did in this election that would cause Joe Biden to be now president-elect and Donald Trump on his way out of office in under 50 days. And so there is a place for each and every part of activism, right? Just because you may not go out and protest in the street does not mean that that's something that doesn't work. When people are nicely asking you for something and you don't do it, then this is the way it usually turns out, right? So that is, this was a good piece. So I would say to the person that wrote this story, and that the fact that you don't see people on the streets being activists because of coronavirus and a bunch of other things, that they're being activists behind the scenes, that they are becoming a part of boards and commissions, and they're going through training so that they can run for public office. Do not lay down on these young people, because they are still there and they're not going away. And the one thing that they've said consistently is this: just because you don't see us doesn't mean that we're not still planning. And they're smarter, they're savvier than we ever were at their age. Trust me when I tell you. So it's an interesting time for us to be in. So let me see what else was on here that she sent to us. Body of Pennsylvania native found on the highway. I read that for you already. Here's a good one. And the other thing that President-elect Biden is working on, immigration is about to turn make a change for the better. After record lows, thank you, Michael. After record lows, Pennsylvania refugee resettlement agencies welcome a new presidential agenda, by Laura Benshoff. Again, WHYY. Thank you, Dee. Dee is sending these to us. By next summer, one type of immigration that has been nearly choked off by the Trump administration could be returning in strength to Pennsylvania: refugee resettlement. After the Trump administration reduced U.S. refugee arrival to record lows and banned people from certain countries, President-elect Joe Biden has vowed to increase the number of refugees moving to the United States annually to 125,000 people, a number not seen since the mid-90s. Refugees and organizations that work to bring them here celebrate the upcoming change in administration. Niamal Tada, who is from Ethiopia, and has been on my show with me every Thursday at 3 o'clock talking about the immigrant experience, is one such refugee who came here when her country went to war. She was 6 years old and was carried on her grandfather's back, and they resettled here in the United States. She has since become a conflict resolution specialist and is doing amazing work, and just is so grateful to be a part of this country. I ask that we spend time getting to learn to know about refugees and why people show up here. They're not here to take our jobs. That is one less enlightened way of saying that you don't want anyone here that's not like you. And so, you know, there's room here for all of us. Refugees and the organizations that work with to bring them here celebrate the upcoming change in administration. I'm extremely happy about this, says Rezwan Natik, a 33-year-old from Afghanistan who resettled in Philadelphia area with his wife and children in 2019. He fled his home country after working for U.S. Armed Forces there, a job that made him a target for Taliban attacks. Natik still talks monthly with former colleagues in Afghanistan who are in line to be resettled but are still waiting for a spot. He said he feels more confident now that he will be able to see them again in the not too distant future. I hope that after January next year, they'll all get their visas approved, and hopefully I will be able to visit them in the United States at some point, he said. And so that's another part of it. You know, so much has been dug up as a direct result of this current administration. We have a lot of work to do, a lot of work to do. So I'm going to move along from that. Let me see what else was sent to me. There's so much going on. I thank you all for hanging in there with me, though. Sometimes these things happen. Washington Associated Press Attorney General William Barr said Tuesday the Justice Department has not uncovered evidence of widespread voter fraud that would change the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. I wonder where he came from, because he has been so quiet. Every major bank has now ruled out drilling in the Arctic, is another breaking news. On Monday evening, Bank of America said that it will no longer finance fossil fuel exploration in the Arctic, joining Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citibank, which all announced similar policies this year. That means no major U.S. bank will fund oil and gas production in the region anymore. So much change happening. Our voices matter, I'm telling you. You just have to use them. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Buying something from a dealer just sounds a bit, well, put it like this. My cousin Ray Ray got arrested for buying something from a dealer. So why would you want to buy your car from a dealer? Hi, everybody. This is Nick inviting you to buy your next car from Jerry over at Cardex. See, they're not dealers. They're like a car concierge service. They design a car around you. Almost any make. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and get it for you. So use my car concierge, where I've already bought 4 cars. Cardex at 116 East Glenside Avenue in Glenside, Pennsylvania. Check them out online at cardexinc.com. Or call Cardex at 215-886-3230.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
Keystone First VIP Choice HMO SNP Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan has a 4 out of 5 star rating and is one of the highest rated Medicare plans in the region. Keystone First VIP Choice and you are better together. If you live in Philadelphia, Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, or Delaware County, and you have both Medicare and Medicaid, choose the Medicare plan that is working to help you get better care. Enjoy extra benefits at no cost to you with Keystone First VIP Choice. You get benefits like dental, vision, and transportation to and from your medical appointments. They also cover a fitness membership to a gym of your choice. $150 toward over-the-counter pharmacy items. There's no copay for doctor's visits. They offer a large provider network, a great prescription plan, dental coverage, and even eyeglasses. Plus, you don't have to wait for open enrollment. You can change your coverage every quarter. Keystone First VIP Choice. The name you trust, the service you deserve. Call Keystone First VIP Choice today at 1-877-686-1760 or visit KeystoneFirstVIPChoice.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Well, I have been on this air for over a year, and I've never faced any challenge like the ones we're facing today. And still we rise like cream, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in to WURD Radio Friday, December 14th for a virtual empowerment experience at 1 p.m. honoring radio icon Cody Anderson. WURD Radio's 5th annual empowerment experience celebrating the history and impact of Black radio in Philadelphia will take place virtually on WURD Radio's 96.1 FM, 900 AM, and you can also watch this program via WURD TV through Facebook Live, YouTube, and on WURDradio.com. The virtual event will be honoring radio icon Cody Anderson with remarkable presentations by his son Bill Anderson, Kenny Gamble, Iyanla Vanzant, and more. The virtual experience will begin at 1 p.m. and feature a virtual roundtable with WURD host and Cody Anderson, music, poetry, reflections, and more. This virtual event is free. Registration is required. For more information and to register, go to WURDradio.com. I remember having sitting in a room with Iyanla Vanzant. We get access to her because of Susan L. Taylor, and she came to one meeting we had one year, and Iyanla is so savvy. She picks up all the stuff that people say and don't say, and so somebody was going on and on and on and on about something, and she said, "So, beloved, this isn't about the person, it's really about you, isn't it?" And I cracked up. She was hilarious. Really good to be around her in small settings because she has so much to offer to all of us, you know, as we move forward in this life. Anyway, I have now on the line with me another brother that I just happen to love. So it's G. Lamar Stewart, Chief of Community Engagement Unit, and Lisa Robinson, CEO of Independence at Home. And Dawn, Chief Communication Engagement, is on today with individuals who have been recently hired as a result of our virtual one-stop job and resource hub. Yes, G. Lamar, are you there?
I am here. Good to hear your voice, Andrea.
Good to hear you. You can call me Auntie. They don't care.
You know I was ready. I was so tempted, but I was trying to act right. Good to hear your voice, Auntie.
You've been at Auntie's dinner table so many times, you can't call me anything but Auntie. So listen, you have Lisa Robinson and Dawn with you?
Yes, they're both on the air. I believe they called in.
Yes, we're here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so G, you know I talk to you all the time.
Yes.
Let me talk to Lisa Robinson, CEO of My Independence at Home, and Dawn. Good afternoon to the both of you, and welcome to The Source.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you very much for having us.
Oh, Dawn, where are you from?
I am from Jamaica originally.
Now, Dawn, you know I'm from Jamaica too, right?
Yes, you are. Great.
Yes, as soon as you opened your mouth. Now I understand why people say I have an accent. See how that works, Dawn? So, so welcome to the both of you. Tell me now, how did you get involved with the Community Engagement Unit and G. Lamar Stewart from the District Attorney's Office?
Well, I am a member of the Next Door Neighborhood website in my neighborhood, and on August 5th, I received an email on the website stating that the District Attorney's Office would be having a virtual one-stop job resource hub event. So I decided to attend. It was a very informative session. There were several different agencies offering jobs, and not only jobs, but other resources which was beneficial to individuals like me. Namely, the home exemption program, which gave me a property tax break for 2021. And of course, the job I currently have with My Independence at Home.
Yes. Oh, so you're now working for My Independence at Home?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so Lisa, good afternoon, lady. So
good afternoon.
You were a part of the job, the employers that were at this job hub, and that's how you found Dawn?
Exactly. So this has been a great resource for us because we always look for people who work and live in the communities that we serve. So this is just another avenue for us to do that. We're always in the community, and it's been a little more difficult since the pandemic. These sessions were typically held in person, but now because of the pandemic, they're done virtually, but it still allows us to take advantage of this program. So it's been great. And Dawn has been phenomenal. Like she said, she did the program in August. She was hired in September, and she's a true success story.
Yeah, so I'm going to speak on behalf of Dawn for a little bit because I am what you would call a yardie. Dawn will work hard and will give you 2,000% more than you would expect from her, right? So you never have to worry about her doing what she's supposed to do. Trust me when I tell you that, and I speak from experience.
I believe it, and we have over 200 employees right now, and they're all phenomenal. They are what makes us successful. My Independence at Home is a family, and we work really, really hard to make sure that we're hiring people that have the same commitment and passion for this type of work, because home care is not easy, especially now with the pandemic. People are very fearful. People are dying. And I'm so proud and appreciative of our caregivers who go out and they're on the front line and they're there every day to help these people. So,
thank you so much. G, are you there?
I'm here.
So I remember the first time that I sat in a barber shop with you some years ago when you were a Philadelphia police officer, and you talked about this. You said, if we cannot get people to the jobs, we're going to bring the jobs to them. Do you remember having that conversation with me?
I remember that conversation.
Okay. Today, I can tell you, a couple of years later, that I am super proud of the work that you have done, that you have moved it over to the district attorney's office, but yet you continue to do what needs to happen, right? So on this, when is your next hub event? Thursday.
This Thursday, December the 3rd, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., it's our virtual one-stop. Of course, we always, and I really appreciate My Independence at Home. They're always a part of it. Maine, who also works part of with Lisa, or Lisa over there, they're always a part of it. We have SEPTA, we have PowerCore, Lowe's, the City of Philadelphia's Human Resources Unit, Mayor's Keep, Interim Healthcare, Brown ShopRite. There are a number of employers and other social service providers, to the point that Ms. Dawn was making. There are other services that people need, particularly in a time where gun violence is up. We were very committed to make sure we have trauma care professionals part of it, as well as victim service agencies, to provide other support that people need to be able to sustain employment once they have it as well. And so this Thursday, it's a Zoom platform, and I'll text the flyer over to you.
Yes, I have it right in front of me.
You want to get that information out to folks, but there's a phone number. If people don't have access to Zoom, they can always call in, and to find the flyer, they can go to the DA's office social media pages, both on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Follow the DA's office page at PhilaDAO. That's PHILADAO. Or they can just call in at
I'm hearing quite a bit of echo, and I'm not sure whose background it is. But say that again, G.
Yep. So if they don't have access, the person who's listening right now wants to be a part of the hub, wants to tune in. If you want to get more information as far as the Zoom link, you can go to the DA's office's social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, or on IG, and just follow us at PhilaDAO. That's PHILADAO. Or you can call in on Thursday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. and listen into the hub. And the area code is 301-715-8592. And so we're making this information available to people who may not have access to the internet, but still want to call in to get as much information as they can.
You know, I'm so proud of this work, and that you're doing it at the district attorney's office. This is happening every first Thursday of the month. The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office will bring valuable and necessary resources to residents of the city of Philadelphia with the support of the internal and external partnerships. The DAO, District Attorney's Office, will bring together employers, trauma-informed professionals, victim services advocates, housing specialists, and social service providers to provide a one-stop job and resource hub to over 50 service employees and providers and partners, which include SEPTA, the ACCU, OIC, Lowe's, Temple, Home Depot, Giant, Philabundance, Einstein, Year Up, PGW, and so many more. So if you are interested, There's a flyer. G, can you put that flyer up on the social media page for me, please, and the phone number for the Zoom link?
I certainly will.
Okay, it's Thursday, December 3rd, from 3 to 5 p.m., right?
That's correct.
Okay, and the phone
number. If I
number.
may, could I? All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to just say one thing also. I wanted to also point out that we have phenomenal staff that work in the office and keep the wheels rolling. And if anybody out there is looking for home care or either a home health aide or a certified nursing assistant, they can reach us, My Independence at Home, at 215-921-2277. That's 215-921-2277. And My Independence at Home provides non-skilled home care services for the elderly and the people with intellectual and physical disabilities.
Oh, listen to you. You did a good job inserting that. So listen, 215-921-2277. If you're looking for a great job with My Independence at Home, they have phenomenal staff in the office. They have over 200 employees, and Miss Dawn is a part of that. Miss Dawn, you get the last word, honey. What has this job meant for you?
I must say thanks to My Independence at Home for their seamless recruiting experience. I have been on board now for the past 3 months, and I must say all who I have encountered throughout this time have displayed professionalism in which they do, in what they do best, which makes me feel welcome. And I must say I'm very grateful for this opportunity working at My Independence at Home. My experience so far is just amazing, and will be recommending friends on board.
So, Lisa,
thank you, Dawn.
Lisa and Jean Lamar, this is the stuff that makes my heart sing, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about the fact that people need jobs and they're trying to figure out a way, because most people want to work. They want to be able to support themselves and their families. They need to be treated with dignity and respect and given a place where they can land and do well. So on behalf of those of us in the WURD listening audience, I want to thank you first, G. Lamar Stewart, for taking this idea that you've had and worked it to the place where it is now, where you have all these partners at the table. And to Lisa, for you and all the other companies that join what they're doing and are providing employment for people, that it's out here in the city of Philadelphia. Please understand, the one-stop, there's a virtual one-stop job and resource hub hosted by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office Community Engagement Unit, led by G. Lamar Stewart Sr. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to you guys soon, okay? All right.
Appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. Bye, G.
All right.
Bye-bye. You are listening to The Source. I'm so happy. That made me so happy. We talk about how there's so much wrong in this city, and we can point them towards educational resources, when we can point them towards jobs, when we can point them towards things that help to elevate the quality of life for people. That is what makes all the difference. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Einstein Healthcare Network salutes all those on the front lines, keeping our communities healthy and safe. Thank you for all that you do. And to everyone doing your part by staying at home, we thank you. Working together, we will continue to slow the spread of coronavirus. Einstein is here for you, just like we've always been.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products, and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Want the latest in Word swag?
Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black.
Talk Media.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation
as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach with tips to help you stay well. We breathe every day and have been doing so since before we were born. But wait, let's think about this for a moment. Something as simple as breathing can enhance our health and well-being. When we breathe mindfully, we slow down, take deep breaths, and activate our parasympathetic system to relax our bodies. Mindful breathing goes like this. Number 1, find a comfortable place to sit still for a few minutes. Number 2, close your eyes and relax your hands on your thighs. Number 3, take a deep breath in and count to 3. Then exhale your breath and count to 3. Do this 5 times. We sometimes think mindful breathing has to be an intense experience, yet even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. It is now almost 3 p.m. on December 1st. Breaking news. Formerly incarcerated lawyer who inspired the ABC drama For Life announces he's running for mayor of New York City today. Isaac Wright Jr. officially declared his candidacy for mayor today with a promise to address the racial, economic, environmental, and educational injustices that plagues our city's institutions. Speaking with People magazine, Wright explains that what led him to launch the campaign was a combination of concerns about New York's future and a feeling that he was positioned to govern in the current political and social climate. If anybody can do this, I believe this brother can. I don't know if you've watched the show For Life. He was wrongfully accused of doing something. He was a club owner and was set up in the New York City justice system and was in jail for life. And while there, became a lawyer. Went back to school and became a lawyer, only ended up serving 9 years, got out, and is now a practicing lawyer. I believe it's in New York or New Jersey. I can't remember right now. But this is going to be interesting. And in a time where so much shift is happening, I believe he can do it. I absolutely believe he can do it. Why? We've had an actor, 2 actors, as one as a governor and one as president of the United States. This man can become a mayor of the city of New York. So we will be watching out for him to see what he does. If you're just joining us, you missed me talking about the virtual one-stop job and resource hub hosted by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office Community Engagement Unit, which is led by G. Lamar Stewart Sr. And they are having it this Thursday, December 3rd, 2020, from 3 to 5 p.m. There is a Zoom link that is going to be put up on the Facebook page, but you can also call in to 301-715-8592, and you can follow it. They have over 50 service providers and partners, and I spoke to one of the service providers and one of the people who was employed, a Jamaican woman by the name of Dawn, just the sweetest pie. So I want to thank the District Attorney's Office, G. Lamar Stewart, and Lisa, who is the CEO of... let me just make sure that I have this properly because I'm messing this up. She is the Lisa Robinson, CEO of My Independence at Home. And so that was a good conversation. So let me take a few callers, and then I'm going to go to my very next guest, Teresa Ward-Maupin. Maurice, Southwest, line 2. How are you, sir?
Mother!
Listen, did you see all the trauma that Mother had to go through today with systems going down, Maurice?
Hey, you doing that thing. I see you in your hand with a cup and a string. You doing it, Mother. You doing it. Let me tell you something. My godson used to write for that show, Life.
Really?
Yeah, because he used to be a correctional officer, so he now had to know a lot of details.
Yes.
But look, I called just for a second because I'm scheduled to have some surgery this weekend, and I just wanted to. I heard you mention about the Cody event coming up.
Yes.
Now, I'm telling you right now, that's the reason I'm on the radio right now, because I experienced the Cody mania. When I was growing up as a young boy, his name was legendary through Philadelphia.
Wow.
I'm letting people know. And the thing he did for one of the oldest members of URD, my aunt, Miss Lucy, was 102 years old and was proud to show her URD membership. And on her last birthday, Glenn Ellis and Cody came to her birthday party at the nursing home. Not only did they just show up, but they came from the beginning to the end, pulled her to her room at the end of the party, and made a 102-year-old woman feel like a young girl. That's a man right there.
Oh, I can't wait to share that with Cody on Friday.
Yeah, let him know. He knows who I am. He did that for my aunt, and my aunt, she done had everything in the world, but that gift he gave her is something she could not buy.
Oh.
And she was a queen. Matter of fact, he came to both birthdays. I'm sorry, he came to her last two birthdays and made her the belle of the ball. And I would jump in front of a bullet for Cody Anderson because nobody can give a person that kind of gift. You can never give that. And I just wanted to express that because a lot of people, they hear his name. But this man done so many things for this city that most people will never know, but you'll hear about it on Friday. But I'm telling you, this is a great man. So I just wanted to let you know that, Mother. You know I'm a political junkie. I got a lot of trash to talk. But you know what? I won't give this time to Cody. And thank you, Mother.
Oh, so what surgery are you having this week? Are you going to be all right?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I done had 20 surgeries in 15 years. Just ask George.
Listen, Maurice, you got to take good care of yourself because Mother needs you now. You keep me going on the radio station.
Well, listen, let me tell you this real quick. I hear you talking about kidney I done had 2 kidney transplants. I done had 3 strokes and a heart attack. And I done had 5 eye operations. And guess what? I'll beat you to the corner. So let you know that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
They
Love
got some
you,
more of
Maurice.
that cornbread. They got some more of that cornbread. I'll beat it.
Love you,
Mother.
Maurice. Have a good one.
Hearing your voice made me feel better.
Oh, you have a good one, okay?
Right.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, I love the WURD listeners. Miss Mary from Mount Airy, are you there?
Yes. Good afternoon, Andrea.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I've been waiting to hear people talk about the assassination of the scientists in Iran. And I don't want us to be pushed into a war behind President Trump or Netanyahu of Israel. You know, we need to ask for an investigation. The United States with President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. We need to ask for an international investigation, and we need to join in with them to find out who assassinated this scientist who was a civilian. You know, and President Trump, he bragged about assassinating Soleimani. Now, we cannot have any president, I don't care who the president is, going rogue and just thinking that they can just take out leaders of other countries, because that's an automatic war. And we should not be pulled into that type of situation. Now, if President Trump is held responsible for that, then it should be a decision made internationally, because no war was called by Congress, which Congress is the only one that can call for a war.
Right.
Now, Iran is saying that they're going to hold not only the United States, but Israel responsible.
Accountable. Yes. I've been following it, Miss Mary, very quietly, and watching to see what unfolds from this. From what I can gather in doing my research is that Iran is very aware that they're being baited into a war. And so they're trying to temper that, waiting for Joe Biden to get into office so they can start to have some of those conversations again, right? It's an interesting time that we are in. And I love talking to you because you are paying attention. You know, all the things you come on here and talk about are things that some things I don't speak up about immediately because I'm watching what's going to come out of it. But I bet you this is not the last time you will hear of this assassination in Iran. What you want to bet?
Okay. Thank
All right. Oh,
Bye.
you're so welcome, Miss Mary. You have a good one, okay?
You too.
Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye. All right, so before I take another caller, let me just talk to our guest who has been patiently waiting. Teresa Ward Maupin is one of the key architects of the Comcast RISE multi-year program that stands for Representation, Investment, Strength, and Empowerment. The program provides recipients with the opportunity to receive marketing consultations, media placements, commercial creative production services, or technology services from Effect TV and Comcast Business. I can't wait to talk to her. Good afternoon, Ms. Ward Maupin. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you today?
I am so good. So you currently serve as the Vice President of Customer and Digital Experience at Comcast. Tell us a little bit about the Comcast RISE program.
Absolutely. So appreciate you allowing me to join today and share it. So the Comcast RISE program has really been created as a way for us to support small businesses that have been impacted by COVID, that have been impacted by the social unrest. And it was looking at how could we, what resources do we have internally that we could leverage to support these small businesses, and how could we give them the tools to not just survive and sustain, but how could we help them thrive and prosper? So through doing that, we really looked at some core areas of opportunities. And to your point earlier, it was around how can we offer a marketing or advertising consultation that really helps them understand what might be the best way to leverage these tools to build upon their business. And then we looked at, well, to your point earlier, from a media standpoint, how can we help them in looking at their media approach that they have today, whether it be radio, digital, paper, what have you, and how to maximize and optimize the approach there, and even creating some of those capabilities for them.
You know what's so... Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Because you said something that stuck with me. Too often when people are running businesses, we keep saying to them, your business is your brand. And what they throw out in media, social media, brands them in ways that they don't even believe, right? I tell folks all the time, if you're running a business, you want to check in and make sure that what you think you're selling is what people are thinking that you're selling. Does that make sense? Right?
It sure does.
And that there's a marketing strategy that comes right along with all of that. So I'm glad to be talking to you. And make me understand this. When did you start the RISE program?
So we started the RISE program in October of this year. And you know, as I talked about some of the other things that we were doing, I think the thing that also comes along with this program that I think is valuable to small business is also the tech makeovers, in which we're supporting businesses in providing them with complimentary services for a year in addition to technology equipment and support. So I think when you look at how we're coupling all of those together, it really addresses some of the biggest pain points that these small businesses are having.
Wow. Okay. I am totally intrigued. How does someone sign up for this? Because I have to tell you, when COVID hit and we had to all come from home and work from home, I cannot tell you the amount of money that I had to spend on equipment just to sound like I am having quality, a quality sound over here, to make sure that I'm giving the same kind of services that I would give if I was in person. It costs a ton of money, and I don't think folks realize that. So how can someone sign up for something like this? And is there a protocol that you have to follow?
So there is. So they can go to ComcastRise.com website, and they can apply for the program. We opened it back up on 11/24, and it'll go through February. And they can fill out the application, tell us a little bit about them, their business, how they've been impacted by COVID, and the different type of support that they need.
And what if they don't know? What if they don't know what support that they need? What if they're at their wits' end and have no idea what kind of supports they may need? Do you have people in place to help them walk through that process, or do they have to know?
Absolutely. So when they're filling out the application, it really is just saying, hey, I need marketing help, I might need media help, or technology upgrade. So they're going to have to help us understand it at a high level, or they may say, I need all. As you know, so many businesses were impacted in different ways. So one business might need technology where the other one really just needs to know, how can I let people know that I'm still here, drive the traffic I need to improve and increase my revenue. So we know that they're impacted in different ways. So that's why we're trying to offer different support.
How did you find me? Because this is the kind of stuff that I love to talk about. You know, I do. I really love being able to tell the WURD listeners that these kinds of supports are available for them. Is there a cost for people who may be brought into this program?
There's no cost. In fact, this is our way of looking at how can we not just help companies rebound, but how can we help them sustain their businesses and prosper. So there is no cost to anyone that applies for the program or is awarded the support. In fact, if they just apply for the program, there's a lot of tools and content that we'll provide to them on a quarterly basis that they can take advantage of in running their business.
Wow. So there are a few people that I'm going to send to you, and I am going to go on it myself and see if you would work with me in particular too, because there's so much stuff that I want to do, and I think I'm missing the 8 ball somewhere, but always trying to learn. So this is I don't even know how you found me, but thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You are ahead of the game because, like you were saying, and you had to move everything through technology, and you had to take advantage of it. So many businesses were in the same situation. So just understanding the tools that are available for them to take advantage of, it's just part of it.
Right. And so for me, it would be learning what else could I use to maximize the equality of what I am doing without, going around the mulberry bush 5 times, because you may have a tool that I could use that I didn't know anything about. And the key to all of this is being willing to learn, right? Is there a certain set of criteria that people have to have in order to apply for this?
Sure. And so what they need to be in business for at least a year, and they need to be minority owned. So minority owned and operated. And so our first phase was focused primarily on Black-owned businesses only. And as we expanded it in the second phase, and by the way, I should have mentioned that this is a multi-year program, but as we expanded it in the second phase, we expanded to BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color. And so, that is really what we're looking for as a part of the application. They've got to be 18, in business for at least a year, and it has to be operated and owned by a minority.
Wow. This. Thank you. Who came up with this wonderful idea?
I'd love to say that we had some great rhyme or reason for it, but it really came about as we were sitting there trying to figure out, how do we give back in a more meaningful way? How do we not just throw dollars at a problem that may fix an immediate need, but don't necessarily help a business grow and prosper? And so it was a collective, a collective group of many people who are just passionate about how can we make a difference. And the thought was, we want to see these businesses be around a year, 5 years from now, because we know them being open helps their community.
Absolutely. And you are aware that minority-owned, Black-owned businesses account for less than 5% of the businesses in Philadelphia. So not only do I want to see the ones that are here continue to grow and thrive and not fall apart, we'd like to encourage others to become, a Black-owned business so that they can apply to your program a year from now, and get the supports that they may need. Is there anything else that you'd like people to know?
I would just say take advantage of it. This is, a company that's going to throw a lot of resources out there that can benefit any type of business that is a small business. So take advantage of it. Even if you aren't awarded the first time, recognize that you can reapply. So there's still an opportunity to gain the support that you need from Comcast.
I'm so excited. So it's ComcastRise.com, correct?
That's right, ComcastRise.com.
All right. Thank you so much. That was a great conversation. Teresa Ward Maupin, who is the Vice President of Customer and Digital Experience at Comcast, Within Comcast, she's responsible for driving the customer and digital experience strategy and execution while leading the market research and customer communications organizations. What a tongue twister. In addition, you also chair Comcast Business Diversity and Inclusion Committee. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to point people towards you. ComcastRise.com. You've been open since 11/24, and you're open through February for applications, correct?
That's right.
Applications. All right. I'm so looking forward to sending people your way. Thank you so much, and you enjoy your day, okay?
Thank you. You as well, and thanks for having me.
Oh, you are quite welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, my goodness, so much good information. You cannot say that Mother didn't send you good information. Thank you, Brianna Brown. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, everyone that keeps sending these fantastic contacts my way. If it's about education, if it's about uplifting and edifying businesses, if it's about health and wellness, I'm all over it, right? So let me go before I take a break. I think you better call Tyrone. Call him. Hi, Tyrone.
Hello, Mother Earth. How are
Hi,
you?
darling. I am good. How are you?
Hey, I'm just, taking it day by day and loving it ever since November the 3rd. I'm still celebrating.
You're still celebrating. Man, Tyrone, what's going on today, sir?
Well, first of all, I was just going to just cool out and just listen, but after I heard my political ticket, because Maurice and Mary from Mount Airy, that's my ticket. They we gotta run them for something.
Listen, I hear you.
The information and the excitement that those two bring, to the table is something that they got to do it at another level. So I'm saying that's my ticket for something. But Mother, I also wanted to speak on the young man that was talking about the program where they was doing things for the young people. And
what young man?
I forgot the name of his group. With his foundation, where you were talking about when you was with Maxwell.
Oh, you're talking about the National Cares Mentoring Movement. Yes.
Yeah. One thing I really appreciate when the brother was saying how, when you got to come together to make things happen. And I always call up when I hear folks saying that this person ain't doing this something, or that person or the politician needs to be doing that. And I always just got to remind folks, it's got to be about we, too. I mean, folks got to get off the sideline and get in the game. Because, like that young man was saying, there's a lot of opportunities to create things, to do things, to make things happen for our folks. And all folks got to do is be about it. Now, we can use the political and other folks that have the resources. We can use them for the resources, but in terms of creating the programs, projects, and putting people, on the ground to do the work, that got to come from the people. And I'm just was so, it was so great to just hear the young brother talk about what they was doing and how they were doing it. And I just believe that we can do it at a greater level if folks stop saying it's this person's fault or that person's fault and be about the business of, organizing, advocating, and bringing folks together to make it happen.
So I want you to. So hold on 1 second, Tyrone, because I want to share a story with you just on that vein. But I have to take a quick commercial break. Can you hold on for me?
Yes, I can.
All right. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
In celebration of radio icon Cody Anderson.
Hey guys, this is Eric Nixon, production coordinator and producer of Evening Words and the Envy McKee Show here at WURD Radio. I have special memories of Cody Anderson while working here at WURD Radio. One was during the 990 movement launch, where Cody had instructed me as the producer to cut the microphone and have dead air during that time. To Cody's point, he wanted to help people realize what it would sound like without a voice in the community. Just proving the point that us being on air was pivotal to continuing our contribution to the Black voice of America.
Join us for the 5th Annual Empowerment Experience as we honor and celebrate radio icon Cody Anderson and his contributions to independent Black media. RSVP now at wordradio.com and join us live on air Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on wordradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. Sponsored by PICO, Keystone Plus, Pennsylvania Lottery, Einstein, Dedicated Senior Medical Centers, and TML Communication.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you are just joining us, what you missed was Teresa Ward-Maupin, who is one of the key architects of the Comcast RISE multi-year program, which stands for Representation, Investment, Strength, and Empowerment. It provides recipients with the opportunity to receive marketing consultations, media placements, commercial creative production services, or technology services from Effect TV and Comcast Business. You can go to ComcastRise.com. The applications are open now from 11/24 through to February. There are different support needs that you will get from them. It is all at no cost to you. So if you need equipment, if you need marketing strategies, if you need tools, all of this, which is worth a ton of money, ask me how I know, because I spent quite a bit of it getting my office detailed so that I would be able to work from home and give you quality programming on the air. Have you ever watched people talking to reporters on MSNBC or CNN or Fox News and their sound is going in and out? There's a set of equipment that you have to buy that prevents that from happening. And so I have it all in here, right? Little by little, just started buying the pieces, and it is not cheap. So when you're a small business owned, you want to make sure that you sign up for this. It is absolutely free. Ms. Ward-Maupin says that if you don't get in the first time, continue to apply because it is a multi-year program. She says that you only have to be in business for at least a year. You have to be a minority owned and operated, and you have to be at least 18 years of age. And they're working on getting Black, Indigenous, people of color. That's how they wanted to give back in meaningful ways. That was a great interview, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to talk to them. Kudos to Comcast for stepping up to getting that done. So right now I'm talking to Tyrone, one of my favorite people. I always sing when Tyrone comes on the air with me. Tyrone, are you there?
Yes, I am. And
So you were...
Mother, I was the president of the Community Advisory Board of Comcast.
Were you?
Some time ago, yes. And one of the things that I, would say that our committee made sure that the senior cost for cable, was like $10 the whole time that we were a part of the advisory board there.
Yes, I didn't even know Comcast had a community advisory board. Did not know that. You know, you learn something new all the time. So you were saying, Tyrone, that when we get on the phone and we complain, or when we sit around and we complain about things that are going on, it doesn't help us. And you're absolutely right. People watch everything we say and do, right? Now, you heard me talking to Stephen Powell from the National Cares Mentoring Movement. I would not have met all the people that I met, Oprah Winfrey, Ileana Van Zandt, just all these folks, if Susan Taylor didn't find me doing the work. I didn't go hunting for her. I did not know the National Cares Mentoring Movement existed. I was in Washington, D.C., having conversation with senators about education, because I was on the school board in Abington at the time. And she was getting ready to give up on Philadelphia when someone said to her, have you ever thought about this woman? And she Googled me and then had her person call me. I ended up going to her house, and that's how that began. And it's from doing the work. Sometimes we sit around waiting for people to put our name in lights. I knew who Susan Taylor was. I didn't know that she had a mentoring program. I didn't know any of those things, right? But when you are committed to doing the work, and when you stay consistent in doing the work, those opportunities will find you. Preparation means hard work, right? So you're absolutely right. You're on the money when it comes to that. We spend a lot of time belly aching, a lot of time threatening people, but where are you standing in the gap to do the work? So I appreciate you for even bringing that up.
And Mother, like Maurice said, Cody Anderson, Maurice said he was, a power of a man, at one time. Cody is the power of a man right now. The one thing that you can say about Cody, and I've been knowing him, for ever since he came to Philadelphia. And one thing you can say about him, that smile, man, he got a smile that will melt a mountain, ice, because he is such a good person. His heart is such, filled with, doing everything he can to make sure that people have the best that they can. And he's always here. I don't care what war, what fight, what it's about. If it's involving the people, Cody is there. So like Maurice said, he would take a bullet for him. I'm going to say I don't have to take a bullet for him, because one thing about Cody going to always have everything in order and in place. So,
I met Cody
for the first. I don't think any bullets going to come flying his way.
No, I met Cody only about a month ago. Can I just tell you? And I literally walked into the studio, and he was sitting in there. I did not know it was Cody Anderson, and I'm, getting myself ready, COVID spraying down everything. And it was towards the end that I realized it was him. And I said, it's a pleasure to meet you. Didn't really get to talk to him. So it'll be nice to do the host roundtable on Friday to hear what the other hosts are saying about him, because I'm like the baby over here, Well, so it's nice to hear you all talk about him.
He is a power of a man. And, he's got God's grace and God's favor, because all Cody do is try to make things right. He is truly a righteous brother. And I am so glad that I had an opportunity to cross his path. And every program that I have worked with, anytime I reached out to Cody was right there. And I know it's not only me, but Cody would do that for anybody. I'm telling you, Cody is a righteous brother, a good brother, and like Maurice said, he's just one of those special individuals. Yes. So thank you for what the station's going to do for him on Thursday, because he has shown us surely enough worthy of anything anybody pat him on the back for. And one thing about it, he's going to accept it gracefully and humbly, because that's what kind of brother Cody is. So, Mother, once again, thank you for always allowing me to share.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Tyrone. Enjoy the rest of your day. And check on Maurice. Maurice said he's having surgery, so check on him, okay?
Right. And definitely, Maurice, I might have you up in my prayer, brother, because we're going to get you on some. We're going to get you and Miss Mary on a ticket somewhere.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
They called in here with all sorts of good information.
Yes.
All
Lord.
right.
Okay,
Talk to you
take care,
soon.
Papa.
All right.
Love
Bye-bye.
you.
Love you too. All right. So there was a piece here from the Comcast Rise, an article. Comcast Rise awards over 700 Black-owned small businesses with marketing and technology resources and makeovers. Comcast Corporation today announced, this was in New York, this was written on November 25th, the first round of Comcast Rise Award recipients. Over 700 businesses will receive consulting, media, and creative production services from Effect TV, the advertising sales division of Comcast Cable, or technology upgrades from Comcast Business based on specific needs. Recipients in 285 cities in 29 states include a diverse roster of small business from restaurants and salons to professional services and retail shops. In addition, 3,300 small businesses have already signed up to receive the Comcast Rise monthly newsletter, which will offer free marketing insights and resources. So the next phase of Comcast Rise, the multi-year, multifaceted initiative launched in October to help strengthen small businesses hard hit by COVID-19, opens up eligibility to include Black, Indigenous, and people of color owned small business. They can apply at ComcastRise.com. 2020 has been a challenge, Comcast says. We literally could not create anything new because we couldn't get our suppliers to make it. This has drastically slowed down the opening of our store. Cool Creative, this is not Comcast, which has been slated to open in the spring, said Joanne Pradell Wilson of Hollywood, Florida. We are thankful that we now have the opportunity to promote the store through TV advertising from Effect TV so we can let people know that Cool Creative is here and open for business. Another testimonial. I decided to open my ice cream shop, My King's Ice Cream, on March 1st, which was about 15 days before the world pandemic hit. It has been hard to staff, and I just want the shop to fully function. In order to do that, we need help with our website, payroll system, and other tools to help make the business succeed. I know I scream, not technology, said Lade Grant of Denver, Colorado. I am looking forward to partnering with Comcast Business and to receiving our technology makeover, as it will set My King's Ice Cream up to succeed and grow. And this is what I'm talking about. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine this morning who said, we were talking actually about contractors, right? She had such a horrible experience with contractors coming through her house, working on her basement. They take a fee from you. They tell you they'll be right back. They demolish everything, and then they don't show up, and they keep going to different people's places and taking a fee from them, so that they can stay above water. And she was talking about the fact that they don't know how to staff. They don't know how to have the quality people working with them. It's just, eat and run, right? And so it's not enough for you to just be good at what you do. You literally have to have systems set up in place so that you can continue to succeed at what you do. And so it may feel like a pain in the beginning, but I tell folks this all the time. If you can go to some place like a Comcast Rise, I sound like a commercial for Comcast now, but they're offering these kinds of free services, right? So that you can get the technology that you need, help you with your website, they help you with your payroll system and other tools. Those are the kinds of things that small businesses need that usually don't have it in place. And so when they have monies coming for COVID-19 and pandemic funding for small businesses, you'll be able to access those things because you can show that you have a business that's set up and running effectively. So thank you to Comcast Rise for this. I'm going to check it out myself because it sounds like there's some really good stuff there. So good stuff. All right, so let me see what else is going on here now. And Michael, thank you so much. You were so good with Mother. There was so much going on over here. All right, let's see. Philadelphia Police. Let me get that. All right, let me go over to Eagles News for a little bit. Who is this, Cody? Cody Anderson? Cody Anderson is, so listen on Friday. You'll hear who Cody Anderson is, Norma Williams. He's been around for a long time. Somebody's asking for George. Mimi says, where is George today? He said he had some info. Yes. Hopefully George would like to call in and tell us what the info is about. So, of course, the Eagles played a football game last night. Ask me how I know. My husband bleats like a goat and he just doesn't even bother. So it says here, Clutch points that fans completely roast Eagles' Carson Wentz after terrible interceptions versus the Seahawks by Dijo Sango that was written yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz isn't playing his best football, and that's being generous. On Monday night, Wentz and the Eagles had a daunting task of going up against the NFC West leading Seattle Hawks. In true Carr Wentz fashion, he put up another dud. Though they tried to claw their way back in this one, the Eagles ultimately fell short and lost 23-17 against the visiting Seahawks. Wentz had another bad day. He completed only 25 of 45 passes and was clearly outclassed by his quarterback counterpart, Russell Wilson. The 27-year-old's evening was perfectly summed up by the embarrassing interception he threw in the final quarter, which landed perfectly to Seattle Andre Diggs. Lord have mercy. So Kofi, one of the fans wrote, that might be the worst interception I've ever seen, and I've watched Andy Dalton for 8 years. Adam Kramer wrote, good God, Wentz. And Albert Breer said, what was that? And Andrew says, what in the wide world of sports was that? Oh, they're roasting him. And so, he's been having a hard time, and they're talking about, that he should be benched, and they spent $28 million, and it wasn't worth it, and yeah. Moving right along. This is so funny. I saw this, and I cackled to the blue corn moon. I had to pay attention to the time. This was written by the Washington Post in the morning mix. Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity says that Trump should pardon himself and his family to avoid a witch hunt. Experts say it's not that simple. This is why we tell folks all the time, pay attention to what's going on around you, because you see these pundits get on the air and they're talking all kinds of yin-yang, and you think it should just happen just the way they say it should. This was written by Jaslyn Pizer today at 6:11 a.m. 5 days after President Trump pardoned his former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, Fox News host and Trump ally Sean Hannity offered a suggestion on Monday about whom the president should pardon next, himself and his family. The president, out the door, needs to pardon his whole family and himself, Hannity said on his radio show. I assume that the power of the pardon is absolute and that he should be able to pardon anybody that he wants to. During an interview with Trump advocate Sidney Powell, Hannity brought up a recent opinion article in the New York Times from Andrew Weissman, a lead prosecutor in the investigation led by former special counsel Robert S. Mueller, remember him? The third. The op-ed called for President-elect Joe Biden Attorney General to investigate Mr. Trump and, if warranted, prosecute him for potential federal crimes. Weissman wrote, Hannity seemed to interpret the article as a warning to Trump. They want this witch hunt to go on into perpetuity, he said, referring to Biden and his advisors. But, Biden said that he wasn't doing anything. See how this works out? They're so full of rage and insanity against the president. Hannity repeated the suggestion on Monday night during his primetime show on Fox News, once again bringing up Weissman's article. If that's what they want to do, if Biden becomes president, I'll tell President Trump to pardon yourself and pardon your family, Hannity said during an interview with former Republican House Speaker Newt Gingrich. Despite Hannity's suggestion, it is unclear whether a president has the power to pardon himself. Asha Rangappa, a senior lecturer at Yale and a former FBI agent, wrote in the Washington Post that the move would be risky given that there has been no precedent. Nothing that President Trump does has a precedent, right? And by pardoning himself, Trump would essentially be admitting he was guilty of one of many crimes, according to an analysis in the Post. The nearest example would be President Richard Nixon, whose lawyer suggested he self-pardoned in 1974. In response, the Justice Department issued a memorandum opinion to the Deputy Attorney General, stating that the president's pardoning power could not be applied to himself. President Gerald R. Ford ultimately pardoned Nixon following his resignation. Mark Greenberg, a professor of law and philosophy at the University of California in Los Angeles, said that experts have varying opinions on the matter since no president has actually pardoned himself. Greenberg, through his best interpretation of the law, told the Post that the Constitution doesn't give Trump the power to pardon himself and his family. He added that the presidential pardon clause has restrictions, just like the majority of the laws in the Constitution. By potentially offering a self-pardon, Trump would violate fundamental principles of American law, which includes conflicts of interest. All right, we're going to take a break. And coming up after the break will be George himself. George is on the line. I can't wait to hear this. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio to connect Philadelphians to resources to help take the next steps in their professional lives. WordWorks.com features career readiness tools, entrepreneurship resources, funding opportunities, and events to expand your livelihood. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. WURD family. Join us Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. for our 5th annual Empowerment Experience. And this year, we'll celebrate the history and impact of Black radio in Philadelphia by honoring radio icon Cody Anderson, featuring a WURD host roundtable, music by Jack Drummond and Taylor Samuel, presentations by Iyanla Van Zandt, Kenny Gamble, Bill Anderson, Deanna Williams, Dr. Lucille Ijoy, and more. This virtual event and live broadcast is free. Add a holiday gift box including a WURD mask, souvenir mug, and holiday flair for $35, $20 for 4 WURD members. For more information or to RSVP, visit WURDradio.com. Sponsored by PICO, Keystone Plus, Pennsylvania Lottery, Einstein, Dedicated Senior Medical Centers, and TML Communication.
Hi, my name is Roberto Perez, and I'm the CEO of Hilco Redevelopment Partners, the new owner of the old PES refinery. Like so many of you, we're excited to clean up and completely reimagine this 1,300-acre property as a new economic engine for growth. This incredible piece of property has 2 competitive advantages. Its physical infrastructure that includes highway, river access, rail, airport, and energy assets, and the outstanding labor force of Philadelphia. The future has arrived. Learn more at hrpphilly.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I am in my last 15 minutes of the show, and so it's going to belong to George and to Woody. George, the people are waiting with bated breath. How are you, sir?
And fine. How are you?
Oh, Lord. So you called yesterday and lobbed something here. What's going on?
And listen, up there at prisons on State Road, they all are understaffed. We're supposed to be 5, there's 2. Where they're supposed to be 10, they may be 4. And with that, inmates up there is like really has taken to the point that every day a guard goes to Tarsdale Hospital up there on Tarsdale Medical. They end up there, either they have a broken rib, broken jaw, broken hand, something be broken seriously. And then you have a shortage of guards, and every day if you keep getting guards going like that there, but I blame the union for that. What is the union's job, Mama? I mean, a union rep.
To protect the employees, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was on the right track to protect the employees. Okay. And if they're not protected, what is the union rep supposed to do?
I don't know. Tuck and run?
No, they're supposed to go to management and make sure that it's taken care of, or they take the necessary steps to make sure it is.
Oh, you're talking about the
president
union
and
rep.
vice-
Okay, I didn't hear you properly.
Right.
Okay, yes, okay, go
The
ahead.
president and the vice president of Local 159 is the worst of the worst. They sit there they always, see, I got a problem with people who laugh and grin in King's face all day. You know, like, it's like I call throwing quarters at him, but he throws pennies. And they just, they don't even have no noise in their tap shoes. They be just tap dancing around. They are the worst union reps that you have in this whole.
Where is Local
Now,
159?
Yes, that's the prison guards up there on State Road. The Philadelphia prison guards. And there's not, but maybe one or two guards that might say it was an accident they got in there. They sold them a good game. You know, we're going to do this and do that. But when you go on that second floor and you infatuated and you so happy to be in the mayor's presence that you give up everything there is. When they say, well, you know, we kind of short with money and we can't, like, really fund the guards as much as we can, they go along with that bullshit. Now, you can't put it on the commissioner because she do what the budget puts her to do. It's the union's fault because she's just there to measure, but they're the ones who have the say-so over what. So, you know, I could be a whole lot more detailed and nasty about it. You know, the dirt and low-life stuff that those buck dancers do, they're the ones I be talking about, special Negroes in this city that hold people back. They're not only holding blacks back, they're holding Hispanics and whites back because guards are mixed. And the guards' hands are pretty much tied. I mean, not one of those people have charges brought against them that has assaulted those officers. And I'm not no big thriller. Whatever right is right, wrong is wrong. But that's the kind of stuff that go in this city that's real quiet. They say, oh, we got to save money. Save money at the cost of someone's life or their health. That's not right. That's not right.
So what is the solution that the guards are
Get
looking
rid
for?
of the
'Cause
union
clearly,
members.
so get rid of the union rep.
members. But it's the members. It's the members. It's just like the FOP. They don't like what McNesby do. They vote them out. If the guards didn't like what these two clowns are doing, then don't vote them out. Vote them back in and get abused and, you know, keep on letting the whole thing go on. But if you don't like that, whenever the election is, you vote them out. But they shouldn't be afraid to voice themselves. Listen, I only know what a friend of mine who's a nurse up there tell me about guards, and the guards that come to me every time I'm around telling me, man, you should know what's going on. And then you got people up there calling me, telling me the same thing. So therefore, everybody can't be lying. I'm not going up there to find out. I'm not going to go whack somebody upside the head and, you know, have my bail money in my pocket to walk around and see what's going on. I'm not doing that. But what I'm telling you is that they need to come on your show, which they listening, but they're afraid to come. That's right. They got to get permission. They got to go to City
They
Hall,
do, because I wrote a story about them in the beginning of the COVID experience, like March, April. And I had to write about them on the condition of anonymity because some of the things that you're talking to me about, George, were some of the very same things that they told me. So I know you're not lying to me.
And look, it's too much good. Your credibility, your word is everything. Your word is your bond is everything. Let me tell you something about that COVID. They even have the guards in such a trick. The union do now, okay? The union has them in such a trick. The guards be putting their life in risk on the line, you know, knowing that they ain't supposed to be, and they know people have it and all that there. They can't even write what they're supposed to write. The good thing is that they do have a few good prisoners there that know how to write them briefs and everything, and they get it to the right people, but nobody does anything. You know why? When you buck dance, you know whose food you eat is whose song you sing, and who throw quarters at your feet you dance for. That's what those two special group of Negroes do. Now, they can sit there and think that they're saving their union and all this. No. They do, like I always tell you, family and friends first, get the jobs, cousins, nephews, and all that other stuff, get the benefits. Just look around. All you got to do is look at their staff, look at their entourage, and ask yourself, what are they doing for their membership? And you know what the answer is? The number minus before one.
Okay. So,
now,
George, if you can find, let me ask you this.
Your show.
So they may not come, but if I can find the prisoner guards, if you can have some of them reach out to me on my WURD radio, I can write about it. I can definitely write about it because they cannot, oftentimes they cannot come and talk about it. They cannot openly be identified because they could lose their jobs too, right?
No,
and people want
their job.
Yeah.
They will lose their job. Just like those two they can't come on your show unless you agree to only ask them questions that's written on paper. They give you the questions and you ask them. Now,
I don't know who that is because people give me pointed questions to leading questions, and I go off because when you answer me, I'm making sure that I'm asking you what I'm hearing you say. So no, that doesn't work for me at all. But they'll work it out.
That's why they won't come on your show.
And that's
90%
fine.
of them that come on these shows, everything they agree to suck up. Yeah, okay, just come on my show. I'm only ask you what you want me to ask you. I'm gonna make you look good.
Yeah.
This is not a look you good contest here. And just listen to the kiss-ups. The kiss-ups as bad as these union reps. Here, their solo check is relied on the membership. Their medical benefits is relied on the membership. But anything the membership do, if they do it, they're going to get fired, and the union's not going to protect them. That's why they're scared to death up there. They can't deal with the inmates, COVID, or anything else.
Right. All right. I'm going to follow up with that.
I'm going to come on your show.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up with that, George, because I do have some contacts. People do reach out to Mother now quietly. So, and I never, Mother didn't give up her resources, her sources, because that's what reporters
tell them they don't have to worry. I'm going to expose all Kenny's Negroes. Kenny don't like them himself because, like he said, if they
all right
sell
now,
the
George,
union out, they'll sell him out.
All right, so
all
right, I got to get off the air, and I got Woody waiting on the other side. Thank you so much, man. I'll catch up with you soon, okay? All right, bye-bye. Woody, you've got the last 2 minutes. How are you, sir?
Well, I didn't even know I had 2 minutes. I thought I was
you have 2
I'm not
minutes.
even going to take up 2 minutes. I'm just going to say I hope you had a happy holiday, and I'll leave it at that.
I did. I did. Did you ride your bicycle last weekend, Woody?
Actually, what I did, I slept for 2 days.
Bless your heart.
Because I had a fall. And
why?
I said to myself, I got to get it together here because that fall, my knee, I don't know what it is. I never had a problem with any of my legs or my knees, but after I had that fall, there's when I make a turn here or a turn here, I guess it's got to heal, but whatever it is, it will come. I feel it coming back the way it's supposed to. So I said, you know what? The body needs rest. So I usually go. So I just said, you know what? After this, I'm just going to take my time. Next thing I know, I was asleep. And before I know it was the next day. So you do need rest sometimes, even though pushing and exercise is very good for you. I think rest is definitely a healing medicine in itself.
I absolutely agree. It was great talking to you, Woody. Yep. You were great for the last one for me to talk to. Mm-hmm. All right?
Yes.
Talk to you soon, sir.
Bye-bye.
Well, all right, bye-bye. Before I get off the air, I want to quickly read some of this to you. Again, this is in health from the Washington Post. And it was written by William Wan and Brittany Shamas today. It says here, why health officials are terrified of a pandemic Christmas. Lord. Americans heard the pleas to stay home. They were told that what would happen if they didn't. Still, millions traveled and gathered during last week's Thanksgiving holiday, either doubting the warnings or deciding they would take their chances. Now, like any party goer waking from a raucous weekend, feeling a bit hungover and perhaps a tinge of regret, the nation is about to face the consequences of its behavior and will need to quickly apply the lessons before heading into the doubleheader of Christmas and New Year's Eve. Health experts point to several key takeaways. Many states were overwhelmed by unexpected surges in testing, with many families hoping a negative result might make their planned gatherings a little safer. Some airports were not prepared for the huge crowds that had not been seen since the beginning of the pandemic, making it difficult for travelers to maintain social distancing. See where this is going? But perhaps the most obvious lesson, public health messaging needs to be retooled as whole swaths of the country are simply tuning out the warnings from officials and experts. We have to rethink how we are communicating. Blaming people, yelling at them, stigmatizing them, clearly is not working, said Angela Rasmussen, a virologist at Georgetown Center for Global Health Science and Security. We have to show compassion and empathy, understand where people are coming from, and persuade them to do otherwise. That is how I'm going to end this episode of The Source. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Please, I talk to you every day that I get on the air. to just, figure out what we can do. Can we talk this through? Maybe I should get a therapist on here to talk to you about how you can manage through these viruses and what it feels like to be at home and wanting to see your family and not being able to see them. But most of all, I just want you all to be safe. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.